West. Welcome to Damu Kiwe Conversations. I'm your host, Duke Sims, the Dime. I almost let the computer die out. I was having technical difficulties, so I'm a little discombobulated. But hit that like button on your way in. We live, and we got the content. So, salute to everybody. Salute to everybody. 411 Media TV on IG. Salute to you. We on Instagram. We on YouTube, man. At Active Chucks. Make sure you go subscribe. This is the Damu and Kiwe Conversations podcast, the voice of the culture. And this is where we get it done, man. We on Tanner Walker. What up? We are anticipating the arrival of the Kiwe pop star, so we're going to let y'all get into it. Anthony Thomas, salute, what's happening? Beautiful black lady, salute to you, and I see you facing that way, which means you're trying to make sure we see all of your assets, you know what I'm saying? We facing your assets, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful black lady. A Dose of Reality TV, my bro, Shalawam, salute to you, King. You know what I'm saying? We definitely want to send ours to you. And you making headways. It might not feel like it, but we got people talking about these cartoons and the AI. You know what I'm saying? Hit that button. Is free, man. If y'all don't follow Dose Reality TV, go ahead and go subscribe to his channel. De Niro Jones, salute to the real one. Salute to you, King. Let's get it. 004. Hit that like button. Great content on the way, man. You should already know we got the great content on the way. That's just what we do. You know what I'm saying? We being me and the Kiwe pop star, Yael. Yeah. He will be in the building. You know what I'm saying? He told me he was still at work. But Keisha, I'll be back. But smash that MF like button, man. Smash that like button. Do not play no games with it. Help us get in the algorithm, man. Appreciate the time and sacrifice we make to get the content together, which takes sometimes days and weeks of our time. You know what I'm saying? Without being paid. So now that we on here, the least you can do is hit that like button. I'm going to call y'all back. Salute. Red, that's the Damu's. Active Chucks. That's the blue heart. Then the stars. You know what I'm saying? Dukes, what's happening? Okay, we got it. We going to hit that like button on your way in, man. Don't be peeking and not speaking. About to charge up real quick. We hope your thing is charged because we got the content. Mike Pina, let's get it. Salute, King. Something I sitting right, giving info before case presented. So obviously telling, man, this what we finna get into today is really the labyrinth. I understand why he wrote the book, The Labyrinth, because that best describes this rabbit hole that we diving down. RG Ascarai, salute. Damu and Kiwe Conversations, man. Salute to you, brother. Yeah, I remember I was Sellies with Ascari X in California Youth Authorities, man. Ricky Murdoch, slave name Ricky Murdoch. Ansel Muhammad, the star child. That's who taught me how to rap, bro. No cap, how to write my 16s, choruses, all of that. Very talented brother. And that we definitely clicked on that black nationalism, especially at that time. I was still a Muslim. So happy B-Day, still have that video. Huh? What video? Oh, you got a video? Oh, yeah. You ain't sent it. So, Mike Pina for sure. Who remember Domino? Oh, we remember Domino. Sebo and Seagram. Oh, I know Quack 000 watching. Say something now. Forever hold your peace. D-Twin 70, what up? Slimeball TV, what's up with your looking ass? I know I didn't even get the clubhouse started. You know what I'm saying? We live. But we going to get to it. Tanner Walker, Dukes, what it do? 702 POW, prisoner of war, man. I'm hoping you free now, King. You know what I'm saying? Some birds just ain't to be caged. I'm one of them birds, man. I spent most of my life caged up. Money Grip. Salute to Damu and Kiwe Conversations. Real ones with real content. The revolution is televised. We are the revolution. Black power. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the chat room. Deuce and y'all, the realest on the net. Oh, no, that's a fact. That's unquestionable. I don't even think our ops would question that at this point. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons we get so much hate. You know what I'm saying? We definitely get, you know, I remember we had 1,000 subscribers. Mike B, salute, fool. I'm going to call y'all back at Dose Reality TV, Slimeball TV, D Twins, RG Ascarai, Beautiful Black Lady, Tanner Walker, James 1977, Mike Pena, 702 POW, Money Grip, De Niro Jones. Salute, man. Hey, salute. But yeah, we had like 1,200 subscribers, and there was a whole panel of West Coast YouTubers. They were Damu Kiwe conversations can't be the voice of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, damn. Like, I know I got say so in my community. I'm, you know, like third generation Fruitown Bram, like that I really did my stuff. I didn't live off nobody else's name. You know what I'm saying? So, and from the pen to the halls, the feds to the streets, I really was like on the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I said, okay, I understand that. And then I shout out to the Baintays, the Neighborhood Bloods, the 20s, they're my allies, the Jungles, you know, Black Peace Stones, City Stones, Jungle Stone. You know what I'm saying? Peace, love, and life, family. Black power, ain't no question, man. You know what I'm saying? Kurt Hoolum, the Bay to LA for sure. Shout out to the Yay area. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't, you know, I got ties to a lot of different Damu sets, you know what I'm saying? A couple Kiwes, love a nigga. Shout out to the Hill, the First Street East Coasters, you know what I'm saying? My boy Smoke Loke and Tank Loke, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I got a little, you know, I'm respected everywhere I've been. I ain't gonna have it no other way, but for them to start saying, Ronald Bray, let's keep it coming. Hey, hit that like button, man. I'm waiting. Y'all acting like y'all slow. Get these people up in here so we can get to this content. But for persons to start saying that Damu and Kiwe conversations can't be the voice of the West Coast, meaning that y'all was already viewing us with such ambitions while we had 1,100 subscribers. 1,100 subscribers, and y'all talking about the voice of the West Coast. We almost to 7,000 now. So I could definitely understand how people could argue and stand that we are the realest. You know what I'm saying? We definitely love our people. Reggie the Rat in trouble. Oh, Reggie in trouble. Yeah, man. Reggie in trouble, man. You know what I'm saying? And he really ain't that smart. Reggie ain't that smart. He's smarter than most. He got common sense. You know what I'm saying? You know, he a snake, though. And he don't forget too much. So if you think you got over on him, he liable to have police pull you over, handcuff you, and that's how you be found unalive. You know what I'm saying? For real, bro. Marcus Jones, what up from Texas? What up? What part of Texas, though? You know what I'm saying? Joffrey Joe, 050, a.k.a. V&G. Salute, Damu and Kiwe. Salute, is that my relative? What up? I'm live. Olivia Prater, salute. We still waiting on y'all. We waiting to get over 100. West, cuz. FHN Love from NYB. Salute, man. They said NYB. You know they whooping. You know what I'm saying? 1-800 Brick City. Who up in here? We up in here. Damu Kiwe Conversations. Why you come up in here acting like you questioning us? We need to question you, brother. It only lets you hit it once. Facts, man. You know, they be acting tight with that thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? On West Side, MVP, GC 3 times. Long live the valuable 3 times. Reggie got hot at Keefe accusing him the true Reggie show when he replied, oh, yeah, man. Reggie, listen, man. See, one thing for sure, and we're going to get into some of the facts today that I'm quite sure a lot of y'all ain't even caught up with. Because first and foremost, everything, even to the CS2 back thing, every part of this investigation with the Tupac and Biggie unaliving investigation, that all still back. VP, my brother, stomp down, over straight. Shout out to the groove, man. Yay, homie, bumped it, Paru. Salute, salute. GD folks, like, hey, shout out to the folks, shout out to the moles, shout out to the peoples, man. You know what I'm saying? C. Shabazz, happy March Madness. Deuce, hey, man, salute. Y'all already know what it is. Matter of fact, hit that like button on y'all way in. We finna get into some of that just because he said that. We gonna get into some March Madness. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all ain't really hip. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna make y'all hip, and then we gonna get into the content. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. I'm still waiting for Yael because I don't want him to miss the facts that we finna get into is really deep, and it really helps formulate what we talking about when we say the hip hop police. Everything runs through Reggie Wright Jr. and his network of police officers, crooked police officers. You know what I'm saying? Let's see where we at. View 13 tracks. Let me see. I don't think that's it. Let's go up here real quick. Yeah, I don't think that's it because I took all my old music down. We're going to re-release it so that y'all see the numbers representative of our new push and not old numbers when they wasn't even no numbers like that in the first place. So let's go like this. Let me see. Active Chucks, ENT. I gotta bear with me, man. Bear with me. Listen, those Pi Bay. Let's see what they talking about. Active Chucks, ENT. Maybe I need to bring that space in. I think that I think we got action. Oh wow, look who we got with us, man. Welcome to Damu Kiwe Conversations. I'm Deuce Sims. I got my co-host, Yael. Yael, you got anything to say, brother?
Man, listen. Y'all know me. I had to come take a break to get away, man, to make sure we get the best version of Yael today, man. Hope everybody is having a great day, man. You sitting with Deuce Sims, the Don, and Yael, the Kiwe Pop Store, of course, co-hosting my brother from another. If you're on Clubhouse right now, salute to you. And if you on YouTube Live with us, man, salute to our valid supporters that's tapping in. Clubhouse, man, salute to the mods that's always on their job. Salute to the goo. If you in the goo, salute to you too. And if you're on stage, man, make sure you give us 3 shares so we can get our shine in the hallways, man. We appreciate that. And if you on YouTube Live with us, salute. If you told a friend to tap in and share our content, salute, man. Share, like, comment. Make sure you share up. Salute to our valid supporters that's in the chat. The Blue Wrench Mob that's on their job. You already know the chat is where it's at. Hot content coming right now. We got Deuce M's, the Don, and Yael, the voice of the culture, the voice of the West Coast, the voice, the most authentic, authentic, of course.
Yeah, they said Deuce M's and Yael is the realest, my nigga.
Damu Kiwe.
I'm just saying.
Conversations. Well, we conversing today. The content is content today.
Oh, yeah, you know we on Veggie Wrong again today. Hey, can we get a little Veggie Wrong today? How you doing today, Veggie Wrong?
I said, Deuce, you better stop playing with me. Because I know.
Ain't nobody playing with you. We just kicking the facts for the people.
I know about you beat the bitch, Deuce.
Damn, Reggie, get the fuck off my. Well, how did he get on here?
Hey,
who let him
Reggie,
up? I'm tripping on the Blue Wrench Mob. Don't let that dude up on stage when we doing our thing. He is not one of us. He's an informant.
A real
He's a
one.
piece of shit.
137. A
Piece of shit.
Tell me, can you hear this? We gonna knock this. Can you hear that, y'all?
Who the fuck is Bloody Good? Bitch, this March Madness. Turn up Los Angeles. Red flags run my mouth like Wild West bandits. My brim's down south. Chum Humboldt cannabis. Till they passed out, stressed out, come chanting it. Bitch, it's your brimming. I do mine like this. Bitch, a dime at the function. That dime might flip. Heads or tails. I fucks, iced up wrists. Act them chain hanging like grandma's tits. Niggas really gang bang. See gang sign twist. 2 fingers in a thumb, though CEO sign crip. Come on, bitch, I'm on presidential, don't tick. In the passenger get Joe inside a Coke White 6. I'm arrogant in the set. That's Food Town script. It's apparent bread, it's slick like veteran pimp. Bitch, I'm ready, Roman meal. Me and sponsor the shit. Copperfield, because you make that pussy do on the slide to the left. Everything to the right. Twist your fingers, nigga, blaze up the flight. Skip to the left. Then stomp to the right. March Madness was popping for the night. Turn up, March Madness. Till high as a kite. Patron shot, saw in the limit slide. Hashtag March Madness. Fruit thighs, brim fly. So whoop it till you pass out tonight. Fuck the ones they can't handle it. Turn up, 37 drive. LS pull up an LS full of dimes. Flag red bandanas. Nino Brim on the dike. Got a Benji, say my nigga 5'9". Commit crimes and did time with my nigga. Smoke pine with my nigga. Drive by this 4 feet for a Los Angeles clip. A regular fixture. Don't make me tiny richer. Truth is that his squad dying to gangbang men. That's why Dames want pictures. I swear the game's so vicious. While player haters gon' head. I spit the K at them niggas. Bottles of yak by the crate. Rock flame by the tennis. By the belt and the match. Cut my frame by the lens. I picture my fly brimming. Half precision they brimming. From the edges to the way. Till my gangsters in prison. Bad blows to the trouble gang with Chris, baby, Sonny and Porky, still fucking gang. Slide to the left, everything to the right. Twist your fingers, nigga, blaze up the flight. Skip to the left, then stomp to the right. March Madness was popping for the night. Turn up, March Madness. Till high as a kite. Patron shot, saw in the limit slide. Hashtag March Madness. Fruit thighs, brim fly. So whoop it till you pass out tonight.
I need a man and a woman in my life. Beautiful black lady trying to get it on. Hey, yo, salute. But we definitely finna get into this content. Salute to everybody from Damu Kiwe Conversations. So, Reggie Wright Jr., as I was saying earlier, he is the nexus between the police and the streets. He burnt the stick on both sides of both edges of the stick. I'm talking about working with them. I mean, we could go all the way back to when he wore a wire on the mayor of Compton for the FBI. Now, for those who don't know, whenever you allow the FBI or the federal alphabets into your life and you provide reliable intel and testimony on behalf of the prosecution and the FBI, they don't let you up out of their life. They're going to stay in your life for the rest of your life. And Reggie Wright Jr., the guy behind me, ex-Compton Police Department officer, president of Wrightway protection security firm. And at one time, he was an intern president for Death Row Records while Suge was incarcerated. But see, while these people was in his life, and Suge felt compelled to put him in this position, Reggie Wright Jr. had dreams of grandeur. You know? He didn't want to be the president of a security company anymore. See, him and David Canner, the lawyer for Death Row, they wanted to rob Suge blind and take Death Row Records from Suge Knight. And there was a lot of people who were tired of Suge Knight, specifically short hats, the small hats, small caps, you know what I'm saying? they didn't like the way, and then a lot of these house niggas who learned the game from the slave master, the small caps, how to fuck people out of their publishing, not exempting Suge. You know, Suge had a lot of disputes, but Suge helped Mary J. Blige get out of her fucked up contract. Jodeci get up out of their fucked up contract. Dr. Dre get away out of his fucked up contract with Ruthless. So Suge built up what would be some kind of resistance from just allowing the small hats and those powers that be in the industry from just mounting these artists with no Vaseline. You know what I'm saying?
No Vaseline!
You know what I'm saying? Steffi Weffy, what up? Stand on the media. Salute. Shout out District 13. We didn't have no time to start a clubhouse room, but we're going to start off with my boy, Scandalous Los Angeles TV. And we got a lot of different clips. Let's get to this with, I think this is it. No, that's not it. Pardon self. You know what I'm saying? We could close that one. Interview Whack 100 said Keefe D did it. Nasty work. Shout out my player partner, Scandalous Los Angeles TV. My brother. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. We finna get into this. Everybody hit that like button on y'all way in. And y'all know what the GOAT do. Scandalous Los Angeles. The MF GOAT. Let's go.
Welcome back to Scandalous Los Angeles TV, where we expose the exposers. The walls are closing in on former Compton police officer Reggie Wright Jr. as new bombshells emerge in the case of Tupac Shakur's murder. Keefe D, from his jail cell, is now claiming that Reggie was the one who orchestrated the killing. These shocking revelations echo the words of Kevin Hackie, who once predicted that Reggie would be the fall guy.
But I think at the end of the day, ultimately, Reggie is and will be the fall guy at the end of the day.
And now, those predictions are sounding more accurate than ever.
The man charged in Tupac Shakur's murder is speaking out from behind bars for the first time. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis insists he was 300 miles away when the rapper was shot. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis insists he was 300 miles away when the rapper was shot.
Keefe now claims he wasn't even in Vegas the night Tupac Shakur was murdered, further exposing the depth of the cover-up surrounding the case. If Keefe wasn't in Vegas, yet figures like Vlad TV, Greg Kading, Reggie Wright, and everyone else involved in pushing that narrative insisted he was. It points to a larger...
Imagine the names he said. Vlad, Academics, Greg Kading, Darren Dupree, Reggie Wright. All of these people, CS2 back, have been pushing that Keefe D unalived Tupac and that Poochie Rob unalived Biggie. Now, they starting to peel back the layers of this onion. And this shit is deeper than Atlantis. Let's go.
Coordinated effort to conceal the truth behind Tupac's death. This suggests there's a powerful machine at work, actively working to bury the real story. At this point, there's really no need for speculation. It's clear that the LAPD coerced Keefe throughout his entire proffer session, making it all the more evident that the truth has been manipulated from the start.
And they were not allowed to record interviews. And so we were honoring that for Jeff, the FBI guy with us, because he said he can't sit in if they're being interviewed unless he goes and gets special approval. And we weren't going to wait around.
So just so y'all know, if you listening to Greg Kading and at the paperwork, statement of Keefe D, when he sat down with them and he waived his right, they illegally recorded him and they have a transcript of that. They transcribed their conversation with him and they took notes. And they had an FBI agent there with them. This is what happens when you profit. The same way they have this on him, they got on CS2 back, and there was an FBI or DEA or ATF federal agent in there with Darren Dupree and Greg Caden when he spoke with him. This is nasty work.
Around for that. His decision to surreptitiously record that interview is everything. Like, I can't even tell you, like, I could never have done the book or any of these things. We wouldn't be here where we are today, honestly, I don't think, if he hadn't secretly recorded that entire interview.
I think the recording that I've listened to where Greg Caden just starts doing all the talking, that's not how a proffer session works on the federal side. I think the recording that I've listened to where Greg Caden just starts doing all the talking, that's not how a proffer session works on the federal side. In reading this transcript, once Detective Long leaves the room, they're completely leading Keefe on what to say and to stick to.
Now, this is Federal Bureau of Investigative Agent, Phil Carson. Phil Carson is telling you that Darren Dupree, y'all see the DD? Remember I told y'all about CS2 Back's handler, Darren Dupree? It's really 3 Ds. His middle initial is also D. And listen to what the FBI agent is telling you happened with this proffer agreement. They were coercing him to bite the bullet after giving him and promising him immunity. Just to say this, mind you, they got Keefe D on Sherm. They got Keefe D on dope. He's facing 30 years to life. He's going to tell them whatever he want to, they won't, so that he could get out of this. Listen.
Keefe on what to say and to stick to the story and not let Keefe speak freely. And instead, they're putting words in his mouth to say, this is what you need to state during this interview. In reading this transcript, once Detective Long leaves the room, they're completely leading Keefe on what to say and to stick to the story and not let Keefe speak freely. And instead, they're putting words in his mouth to say, this is what you need to state during this interview. If you stick to this story, you'll sleep well. If you don't stick to this story, you're not going to sleep well, and we're going to potentially cause problems for you, which is complete police coercion, which is crazy. It's not acceptable, obviously. It's hard to be believed, but I'm reading it, so yeah.
You just heard former FBI agent Phil Carson acknowledge that the LAPD coerced Keefe D's statement. This proves that the FBI is fully aware of the hidden truths surrounding this case.
Now he's pointing the finger at someone else. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky has this ABC News exclusive.
We ain't meant to survive because it's a setup.
The death of rap legend Tupac Shakur nearly 30 years ago became one of the nation's most notorious unsolved murders.
Hey, Keith, Metro Police, come over here.
Then in 2023, a breakthrough when prosecutors charged this man with ordering the hit, the only person arrested for Shakur's murder, who now tells ABC News authorities have the wrong man.
I'm innocent. I ain't killed nobody, never did ever kill nobody. They don't have no evidence against me. Came and put me in Las Vegas.
61-year-old Dwayne Keefe D. Davis says the night of the murder, September 7th, 1996, he was in Los Angeles, 300 miles from the Las Vegas intersection where Tupac Shakur was gunned down.
Prove that I orchestrated this. You know what I'm saying? Your key witness orchestrated this, orchestrated this, orchestrated this.
I'm an never mind.
They top witness is the lead suspect. They top witness is the lead suspect.
Their top witness against Keefe D, someone who wasn't even at the crime scene, Reggie Wright Jr. is also the suspect in the unalivening of Tupac Shakur. Let's back that up, because you hear Reggie say he's the orca. Orca, like the killer whale. Orchestrator.
Orca?
Orchestrated this, orchestrated this, orchestrated this.
I'm an never mind.
They top witness is the lead suspect. They top witness is the lead suspect.
I think that Reggie has managed somehow to play everybody off against everybody else, and that includes law enforcement. He is he's an informant / suspect in all of these crimes.
The defense pointing to someone else, Reggie Wright Jr., a former cop and security guard for record mogul Suge Knight, who was driving the car Tupac was in the night he was shot. Wright has denied any involvement and has said, "It bothers me because I was in charge of possibly protecting this young man."
But I think at the end of the day, ultimately, Reggie is and will be the fall guy at the end of the day.
Reggie is being set up as the fall guy, but we know the orders came from much higher up. They're going to pin all the blame on him, but we're aware of where the real problem started.
There's a lot of conversations going on all the time. Don't go to Vegas, don't go to Vegas, don't go to Vegas. Because at the time, there's a lot of trouble in Vegas, a lot of gangs in Vegas. Look, instinctively, I felt like there was trouble.
I'm going to the studio to make Bob Doe mad. I'm finna go make Bob, I'm finna make you real mad right now. You with Dolores Tucker. I'm finna make a hit for y'all right there.
And prosecutors say Davis incriminated himself in his 2019 memoir, Compton Street Legend, and in this on-camera interview.
You said the shots came from the back. Who shot Tupac?
I keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the backseat for him.
Davis now says his previous admissions connected with the shooting were made under duress and for money, claiming he did not write his own memoir and was fed information by police.
I shouldn't have said nothing. You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't have said nothing. And I'm innocent, man.
Prosecutors declined to respond directly to Davis's new claims. They say their case is strong and they expect a conviction. Tupac Shakur is one of the best-selling rap artists of all time. 75 million albums to date. Most of those sales posthumously, thanks in part to hits like California Love. Davis's arrest followed years of fan-driven theories that an intense rivalry between East Coast and West Coast rappers sparked the fatal attack on Shakur.
And I'm being held against my will. I'm supposed to be out there enjoying my twilight. God got my back, and God will see me through this.
The judge has not yet weighed the defense's claim of a different suspect. And right now, Diane Davis is scheduled for trial in February. Diane?
Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Kaczorski, thank you.
Trips. Let's go ahead and shut this down.
Tax Act knows.
We're going to shut this down. Let's break this down real quick, right? We're going to break this down real quick. So, you got Keefe D now saying, what evidence do y'all got that I was in Vegas, period? Well, we have your confession. Well, you hear the FBI agent, Phil Carson, justifying. I'm quite sure Keefe D lawyers know his familiarity with the case, and they're going to call an FBI agent to the stand, subpoena him, and ask him in his expertise. You know what I'm saying? Was this proffer ran how proffer sessions are run, where the investigators ask all of the questions as opposed to them giving answers and telling him what will happen if he doesn't stay consistent with what he already said. Darren Dupree, Greg Caden's officer. The same Darren Dupree and Greg Caden that offered Stutterbox immunity. That seems to be their MO. That just to close the case, they'll offer the killer or alleged killer immunity. It is alleged that Darren Dupree offers Stutterbox immunity to admit that he unalived the Notorious B.I.G. Same thing they offered Keefe D. But Keefe D said, okay, well, I was coerced. Obviously, when you hear the interview, the FBI walks out the room. As soon as the FBI walk out the room, then Darren Dupree and Greg Caden begin recording and coercing Keefe D what to say. You got caught with all this sherm and dope, taking it out of town, Virginia or Ohio, wherever he was dumping shit at. He had multiple places, you know what I'm saying? And you gonna go along with this and we gonna give you immunity. So he told him whatever he wants to hear. That's gonna be his argument. He's gonna have FBI agents just like Phil Carson come testify on his behalf that it sound like coercion, that he was being led to admit these things and he just wanted to get off all of that shit. So now he's saying, now that you can't utilize, or the jurors know that I would tell them anything they wanted to hear, you can't believe that. What evidence do you guys have to put me in Las Vegas? Fuck the murder scene. Fuck the murder scene. Only person that could alive that could still put him at the murder scene is himself and Marion Suge Knight, who was the driver in the car when Tupac was unalive. He's saying what I believe is the truth. He's saying that Tupac Shakur was set up and unalive by Reggie Wright Jr., crooked police, Reggie Wright Sr., Jimmy Iovine, and the powers that be. See, a lot of people don't know that there was a coup going on at Death Row Records. These people were so tired, the mafia would make Lil Jon and Cuban Rob smoke whack. Damn. But so they were tired of Suge shit, and Reggie wanted that position, that top spot. He even stole Suge's building, put his name on it. Began signing checks with the stamp, unauthorized use of money that Suge was in jail, not giving him the permission to do. Forging stuff, even trying to get Miss Shalade to sign stuff. Him and the lawyer, David Kenner, right? David Kenner's upset. So let me give you the motive of both of these two just on the face of everything. David Kenner and was under risk of losing and being disbarred and losing his lawyer license because of the conflict of interest with his writing of the contract for Tupac Shakur, and as an attorney representing Tupac Shakur, when at the same time being the attorney, in-house attorney for Death Row Records. On top of that, if it has been verified that Tupac Shakur fired David Kenner and no longer required his services weeks or days before he was unalive. On top of that, Reggie Wright Jr. was fired. Wrightway protection services no longer wanted. And like Reggie said, if he fired me, fuck him. I don't give a fuck. You know, Reggie egotistical ass. You know what I'm saying? This is how he was talking about Pac fired him. Then he lied and said Pac didn't fire him. Then he say, well, if he did get fired, he never got the memo. How did you, the president of Wrightway Protection Security, and your subordinates, those that work for you, got the memo, but you never got the memo? I'm just saying, I don't believe you. So let's get into some more of this content. We're going to get y'all into the we're going to get into this real quick. Hey, shout out D-Ray Straight Game TV. Ray Richards.
Damu Kiwe conversations.
We're going to talk about this 40 Glock. Here go the questions.
Why did Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. lie in a deposition about the 40 caliber Glock? And where did Eric Von Zip get the gun? I guess we'll never know. But this is one thing that we will know. Let's get into some of this straight game.
Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy Delray Richardson, Platinum Artist, Platinum Songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor. Click on the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And like I always say, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and click on what appears to be that little bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, there's been a lot of lies told involving the Tupac situation. But I found some information that I thought was one of the most egregious lies. Until this day, we still don't know the truth behind it. But what we do know is that Reggie Wright Jr. lied. So if Keefe D is alleging that Reggie Wright Jr. was the orchestrator, this, what we're about to discuss, or what I'm about to show you, because I know a lot of you people have not seen it, and some of you have, but this is very important. This was a deposition in regards to the 40 caliber Glock that was found on Fatal Hussein.
Fatal Hussein,
when they were going into the House of Blues. But this is the deposition, and Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was deposed. Let's get right into it. Check it out. Kim Valentine is the person doing the deposition. Kim says, do you know an individual by the name of Kevin Hackie? Reggie.
What up,
yes.
John?
Pay attention, y'all. Kim Valentine and Kevin Hackie, at one point in time, as I understood, was a police officer. Reggie Wright Jr., Compton Unified School Police, as I recall. Yes, Kim Valentine. And was he ever an employee at Wrightway Protective Services? Reggie Wright Jr. Yes, he was. Kim Valentine. Do you recall approximately his dates of employment with Wrightway Protective Services? Reggie Wright Jr. Let me see. Maybe August, September of 1995. Kim Valentine. Do you ever recall an occasion where any of your Wrightway Protective Services employees provided you with a weapon that came from a police department? Listen to Reggie Wright Jr. I heard that allegation. He's calling it an allegation, right? I heard that allegation. First, here's the allegation word, right? I heard that allegation before somewhere. I don't remember where. I know the incident you are speaking of, but the gun was never given back to me. Okay? The gun was never given back to him. Listen. Kim Valentine. So you were never provided with a weapon by any of your employees that, to your knowledge, came from a police department? Reggie Wright Jr. No. Kim Valentine. And Kevin Hackie never provided you with a weapon that was allegedly from a police department. Reggie Wright Jr. That's correct. You know what? That's not correct. See, he was ready to go into the lie, but he doesn't know what Kim Valentine knows or what other evidence they have. So he was ready to go into the lie, but he still lied, even though he tried to come back. Watch this, y'all. Reggie Wright said, that's correct. Oh, you know what? That's not correct. Kim Valentine. Okay. So she's like, okay, well, tell me what it is. Now, watch this great stutter move, and I want you to pay attention. Reggie Wright Jr. That's not correct. Kevin did give me a gun that was taken from, what it was. Yeah, it was an incident where a gun was taken from. We had a concert or something, it was taken from one of the artists that was with us, and one of the other security guys took and held the gun, and somehow I think he and Kevin hooked up, and he gave the gun back to Kevin Hackie. I remember me and Kevin meeting about it, and Kevin telling me he was going to give me the gun. I don't ever remember receiving the gun back from him. I remember the incident, but I don't remember if I got the gun or what happened to the gun. Listen, follow along now. Kim Valentine says, did you ever send Kevin Hackie to get the gun? Reggie Wright Jr. I told Kevin Hackie to go meet the guy, right? I think it was a Santa Monica LAPD cop. I don't know. I don't remember too much about it. Kevin probably gave it back to the guy that he took it from. I don't know. Did y'all hear that? He's saying that Kevin, first he said he didn't know. He said, I think he met with the guy. And then Kim Valentine comes in and she says, did you ever send Kevin Hackie to get the gun? Now he's saying, I told Kevin Hackie to go meet with the guy. I think it was a Santa Monica LAPD cop, right? Because they were about to lock up Fatal Hussein that night. Right? For whatever reason, I don't know why he didn't get locked up or whatever. But listen, Kim Valentine, do you know who he took it from? Meaning the gun. Reggie. It was either Tupac or one of his boys. Kim Valentine, do you know what type of gun that was taken, right? Reggie Wright Jr. It was a 40 caliber Glock. Now hold on. A 40 caliber, right? Listen. Reggie said earlier he didn't know about the gun. Right. He didn't know about the gun because he was never given the gun. But when she goes in to ask him, well, do you know what kind of gun it was? Now he all of a sudden knows it was a 40 caliber Glock. Remember, he said earlier he knew nothing about the gun. He don't know if he got it back or not, but he actually knows what kind of gun that he didn't get back.
Right.
Kim Valentine goes on, listen. Why did you tell Kevin to go get this gun from the police officer, Reggie Wright Jr.? I was going to give the gun back to the owner of it, right? Now the gun that he didn't get back, you're gonna see that. Now he told Kevin Hackie to go get the gun that he didn't know about, and he just didn't remember. But now he was gonna give it back to the owner, Kim Valentine. Who was the owner of it? Reggie Wright Jr. It was somebody we were supplying security for. One of the guys, it was one of Tupac's boys, somebody that was with Tupac. I don't know which one it was. Check it out now. Kim Valentine, was there ever an occasion where any of your police officers ever provided you with any other weapon other than the one we were just discussing, right? Let me do that again. Kim Valentine, was there ever any occasion where any of your police officers ever provided you with any other weapon other than the one we were just discussing? Reggie Wright Jr. No. Kim Valentine. So you ultimately never got the gun from Kevin Hackie. Reggie Wright Jr. I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Y'all hear that? I don't remember that, right? Because I don't know what I did with the gun if I got it, right? Come on, y'all. This guy, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. She asked Reggie, Kim Valentine, so you ultimately never got the gun from Kevin Hackie. Reggie Wright Jr. says, I don't remember that because I don't know what I did with the gun if I got it. But I do remember some discussion about that now. I was wondering what the heck you were talking about. So now he act like he didn't know, right? And now he says he don't even remember. When at first he said he was going to give the gun back to the owner.
Which would be
and when she asked him, so you ultimately never got the gun back from Kevin Hackie, right? Listen. Oh man, this is crazy. This is crazy. Look, let's look once again. What did he say earlier? Right? Reggie Wright Jr. He said, okay, oh, that's not correct. Kevin did give me a gun that was taken from. Hold on. Didn't he say he was given a gun?
Right.
After once he said, oh, that's correct. You know what? That's not correct. Kim Valentine said, okay. Oh, that's not correct. Kevin did.
Now he changed his story.
Hold on. And then we go back to where we was just at. What did he say? He said, so Kim asked him again, Kim Valentine said, so you ultimately never got the gun from Kevin Hackie, right? He says now at the end of the deposition, he says, I don't remember. But just a minute ago, he said what? What'd he say? What'd he say? Reggie Wright Jr. That's not correct. Kevin did give me a gun that was taken from. So hold on, y'all. So he got the gun back, right? He got the gun back, but at the end of the deposition, he said he didn't remember. I don't remember because I don't know what I did with the gun if I got it. But I do remember some discussion about that now. I was wondering what the heck you were talking about. He knew what she was talking about the whole time. So, and this was dealing with Chris Blatchford from Fox. Chris Blatchford once again intersects with this story when he interviews Frank Alexander and Kevin Hackie. And this is what Kevin Hackie and Frank Alexander said. He said that once I gave him the firearm, see, there's no ambiguity as far as Kevin Hackie is concerned. He said, once I gave him the firearm, he gave it to his daddy, who at the time was a lieutenant with the Compton police over the gang division. He said his daddy booked that firearm into property, which is really and truly far-fetched. About 6 months after Tupac's murder, Reggie told me, you know, at any given time, I have the money, I have the people, I can have you killed at any given time. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I went back to this was because somebody came on one of the chats that I did. I mean, one of the videos that I did. And they were like, "Yeah, you didn't hear about that gun? That gun, they threw it in the ocean in Hawaii, right?" But Kevin Hackie, the one who gave the gun to Reggie, that Reggie didn't remember, but then then all of a sudden, first he said Kevin Hackie gave him the gun, but then at the end he was like, well, I don't remember. Then he was like, well, I wonder what y'all was talking about, right? He knew all along. He was trying to obfuscate. He was trying to lie. As a matter of fact, he did lie. He got caught in the lie, right? Because he said 1 minute, and she said, is that correct? He was like, yeah, that is. Oh, you know.
And the task force and the feds knew, and Las Vegas knew that Reggie was lying. But for some reason, Darren Dupree and Greg Caden had an interest in continuing to utilize Reggie Wright Jr. and his testimony to push this narrative. Nasty work.
You know what? No, it's not correct. Yeah, he did give me a gun, right? And then they asked who it belonged to. He said one of Tupac's guys. So for all that he was saying that he didn't know, he knew everything, right? One of Tupac's guys. Well, what were you going to do with the gun? I was going to give it back to his owner, but you said that he didn't give it to you, right? And you didn't remember. You understand what I'm saying? See, this is the problem that's been going on. Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. has been lying for so many years. He's lied on so many different occasions I done shown you guys, right? So now, once again, somebody said, and you can post this, I mean, you can, somebody point me to the video where he says that the gun got thrown into the Hawaiian Ocean or whatever y'all want to call it, basically. And so now, but Kevin Hackie says, which is very interesting, Kevin Hackie says, he said that once I gave him that firearm, he gave it to his daddy, who the time was a lieutenant at the Compton police over the gang division. He said that his daddy booked that firearm into property, which is really truly far-fetched. About 6 months after Tupac's murder, Reggie told me, you know, at any given time, I have the money, I have the people, I can have you killed at any given time. Now listen to this. I want you to understand something. So now, once again, the gun belonged to whoever it belonged to. So why would Reggie then allegedly, from what Hackie was saying, go give it to somebody else and not give it back to the person
Fatal Hussein
that it belonged to? You understand what I'm saying? So basically what he's saying, he basically stole somebody's weapon and giving it to anybody else other than the person that it was taken from, because the gun wasn't dirty, right? Meaning the gun didn't have no kind of crimes or bodies on it or nothing like that, right? You see what I'm saying? This is a deposition. So this guy will lie in a deposition, and then at the end of the deposition, he attempts to say, what does he say? What'd he say? Oh, I don't remember that. So she says again, Kim Valentine said, so you ultimately never got the gun from Kevin Hacking. And then Reggie goes in to say, I don't remember that because I don't know what I did with the gun. So what do you mean? Either you got the gun or you didn't. She's not asking you what you did with it.
I think you
She's
might be
asking
right,
you,
though.
so you ultimately never got the gun from Kevin Hacking. So now he's saying, I don't remember that at the end of the deposition. When before, what did he say? Kim Valentine asked him, and Kevin Hacking never provided you with a weapon that was allegedly from the police department. That's correct, he said. First, he agrees with it. Then he says, you know what? That's not correct. And Kim Valentine says, okay. And then Reggie goes on to say, that's not correct. Kevin did give me a gun that was taken from, the incident where the gun was taken from. See, now he begins to stutter because Kevin Hackie ultimately did give Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. the gun back. What Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. actually did with the gun, we still don't know, right? So, like I said, once again, when Keefe D makes the statement that's saying, hey, you know, Reggie was the orchestrator, he was behind it. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem from somebody who was a head of security who has lied so much and now is being implicated in the murder of Tupac Shakur, right? By Keefe D, Dwayne Davis, if you want to be frank. So like I said, at the end of the day, man, yeah, Reggie got a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah, one thing for sure, we don't know why, but the man just got caught up in multiple lies about a homicide that he wasn't even there for. But he's volunteering to talk to these people, utilizing his position as head of security for Wrightway Security and Death Row, right? Doodle said, Veggie, CS2 Rat, etc., team full of workers, hip-hop cops, them dudes something else, no cap. Yeah, bro, they are. Look, 1-800 City, everybody on it. They had cops on payroll. It's a cold world, don't trust nobody. Reggie the Rat, who copped that Reggie book? Not me, Spider the cop, and Reggie the pig. Damn, this is crazy. Yeah, bro, this is crazy. But I don't want to lose y'all and get away from the information about this gun. See, this gun is so vicious, right? He caught lying about a 40 Glock that was taken off of Hussein Fatal. So we finna get into this content. Hold on, where we at? Let's go ahead and share this with y'all. Hey, welcome to Damu Kiwe Conversations. Y'all be sure to hit that like button if y'all just came in. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. So he's lying about this gun, and I'm finna show you why. He got the stuttering, changed his story. He don't remember. He never got the gun. He wouldn't remember who he gave the gun to. Really, I believe that this kind of helps you understand why he wants to forget who he gave that 40 Glock to. So, according to Kevin Hackie, the gun used to kill Tupac Shakur was a Glock 40 that was confiscated by an off-duty Santa Monica police officer during a routine search at the House of Blues of Hussein Fatal, who from the Outlawz, Tupac's Outlawz, right? On July 4th of July, 1996, when he is detained attempting to enter the venue with a Glock 40, the off-duty Santa Monica police officer wants to arrest Fatal, but is talked out of it by Reggie Wright Jr. Reggie, how would you forget who you talked to the Santa Monica police officer about not arresting after he found a gun on one of Tupac's people? And you went over there and talked to him. In fact, it's on YouTube. Hey, can somebody please put into the chat the video so we can show Reggie Wright rush over there to go tell them dudes not to arrest Hussein Fatal? Imagine that. This rat, this ex-cop, this suspect in multiple murders has enough pull to get a Santa Monica police officer not to arrest a street nigga from Jersey caught with a 40 Glock. This is some dangerous times. He agrees to allow Fatal to leave the venue and book the gun, putting it through the system. As long as the gun comes up clean, it will be returned. If not, Fatal may face charges. That is the agreement that is struck that night with the off-duty Santa Monica police officer who struck the deal with this officer on behalf of Fatal Hussein, helped them get off this gun case or being even charged for it. Reggie Wright Jr., I wonder if he helped Spider get off of that gun case. I wonder if he helped CS2 Back get off that Texas gun case. And what they had to do to make sure they got off of those gun cases. Or the other gun case when they raided CS2 Back house. See, Reggie then demonstrated it. He has that type of authority to get you off gun cases. Oh, yeah. In late July, Reggie Wright contacts Kevin Hackie and asks him to keep tabs on the weapon. Hey, yo, keep tabs on what's going on with that weapon. The off-duty Santa Monica officer takes the gun back to Santa Monica police station. The gun was then ballistic tested by the FBI and run to see if the weapon was stolen or had been used in any crimes. There were no ballistic matches at that time, so the FBI sends the weapon back to the Santa Monica police. Sometime in August of 1996, Santa Monica police contact Kevin Hackie and tell him the gun was cleared for pickup. Hackie, who was working undercover for the FBI and the ATF, that's Federal Bureau of Investigations, and alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. This is what the ATF does. They retrieve the gun. Hackie retrieves the gun and takes it to his handlers. They clear him to release the gun to Reggie Wright Jr. Hackie hands the guns to Reggie Wright Jr. That was in August. A month later, September 7th, 1996, the gun is used to kill rapper Tupac Shakur. When Las Vegas police book shell cases and bullets into evidence, they are sent off to the FBI where they are ballistic tested. They are run through the federal database where, according to Kevin Hackie, they matched the gun confiscated at the House of Blues and given to Reggie Wright Jr. This may also be the gun that one of the shooters attempted to drop off at Fox 11 Studios to Chris Blatchford. Now, here's the deposition. Now that you guys got all these facts, Kevin Hackie is working. Reggie Wright is so up shit creek. Where's the dude that just said, I know you're not one of those conspiracy theorists? Nigga, we going off facts, nigga. These is evidentiary facts. Undisputable facts, nigga. The 4th of July, Hussein Fatal and Tupac and the Outlawz were at the House of Blues. Fact. A Santa Monica police officer searches Hussein Fatal and finds a 40 Glock caliber. Fact. Takes the gun, was going to arrest him, to Reggie Wright, wobbles his Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, pork butt ass over there, and chops it up, utilizes his position as a Compton police officer, his father, the lieutenant for the Compton Police Department. He's a federal informant, let's say a federal cooperative. He's cooperated, even right here in this deposition, right? He's cooperated in many investigations, right? So now he uses his sway to get Fatal Hussein out of being charged for this pistol. Takes the pistol to Santa Monica Police Department, sends it to the FBI for ballistic testings to make sure it wasn't dirty. Pistol come back, it's not dirty. Oh, now these bullets on the pistol have unique, each one have a unique busting on the back of the gun that leaves a unique thumbprint, right? The thumbprint comes back with no crimes on it. They call Kevin Hackie, the FBI ATF undercover, not informant, undercover. He's investigating Tupac and Death Row Records for the FBI and ATF at the time of Tupac's unaliving and before. And he's saying the FBI ballistics come back clean. Santa Monica call him, hey, you can pick the gun up. He goes, picks up the gun. They release it to his custody. He runs to his handlers. Hey, ATF, hey, I got this gun. This came from Hussein Fatal, right? Yeah, we got this from Hussein Fatal. Reggie told me to get it. I'm going to give it back to him. He's supposed to give it back to Hussein Fatal. But in the deposition, it comes out he don't remember initially who he gave that gun back to. So now he don't even remember ever getting the gun from Kevin Hackie once it came from the police. Unbeknownst to this dummy, Kevin Hackie is undercover with the FBI and ATF. Unbeknown to this Dex, they already then cleared their undercover agent to release the gun and give it to Reggie Wright. So when he's saying he don't remember this, and no, these FBI agents and these Kim Valentine and them knows that he's lying. Oh yeah, he a fed for real. Phil Carson exposed him. Yeah, no, that's a fact. So now, if you paid attention, let's get to this real quick, and then we'll get back into the we get back to this deposition. Boom. Reggie Wright is asked about this gun. Kim Valentine. Do you know any individual by the name of Kevin Hackie? Reggie Wright Jr. Yes. Kim Valentine and Kevin Hackie. At one point in time, as I understand it, was it a police officer? Reggie Wright Jr. Compton Unified School Police, as I recall. Yes. Kim Valentine. And did he provide services to, well, strike that? Was he ever an employee of Wrightway Protective Services? Reggie Wright Jr. Yes, he was. Kim Valentine, do you recall approximately his dates of employment with Wrightway Protective Services? Reggie Wright Jr. Let me see, maybe August, September of 1995? Kim Valentine, do you ever recall an occasion where any of your employees provided, your Wrightway Protective Services employees, ever provided you with a weapon that came from a police department? Reggie Wright Jr., I heard that allegation before somewhere. I don't remember. I don't remember where. I know the incident you are speaking of, but the gun was never given back to me. So he lies. We're talking about a gun that FBI undercover ATF FBI agent is saying the ballistics match the murder weapon of Tupac Shakur. And Reggie Wright Jr. is lying about ever getting that gun back. That makes me believe that there's a reason. Kim Valentine, so you were never provided with a weapon by any of your employees that, to your knowledge, came from a police department. Reggie Wright Jr., no, another lie, right? Kim Valentine and Kevin Hackie never provided you with a weapon that was allegedly from a police department. Reggie Wright Jr., that's correct. You know what? That's not correct. Yeah, now he's thinking about what's going on, right? Now he's thinking, Kim said, she's very, okay. Reggie Wright Jr., that's not correct. Kevin did give me a gun that was taken from, it was taken. What it was, yeah, it was an incident where a gun was taken from, we had a concert or something. It was taken from one of the artists that was with us. And one of the other security guys took and held the gun. And somehow I think him and Kevin hooked up and he gave the gun back to Kevin Hackie. I remember me and Kevin meeting about it and Kevin telling me he was going to give me the gun. I don't ever remember receiving the gun back from him. I remember the incident, but I don't remember if I got the gun or what happened to the gun. Kim Valentine, did you ever send Hackie to go get the gun? So she sees that he's lying, saying that Kevin Hackie is just doing this, but this is your employee. You're the head security of Wrightway. This is your company, right? And you want us to believe that he did all of this without you giving him the authorization or giving him the instructions to go do this. You know what I'm saying? So she tells him, so did you ever send Hackie to go get the gun? Reggie Wright Jr., I told Kevin to go meet with the guy. So now he said, I told him to go meet with the guy. I think it was a Santa Monica or LAPD cop. I don't know. He's lying again. He knows it was Santa Monica. I don't remember too much about it. Kevin probably gave it to the guy that he took it off of. He took it from, I don't know. Kim Valentine, do you know who he took it from? Reggie Wright Jr. It was either Tupac or one of his boys. Kim Valentine, do you know what type of gun that was? Reggie Wright Jr. It was a Glock, a 40 caliber. Kim Valentine, why did you tell Kevin to go get this gun from the police officer? Reggie Wright Jr., I was going to give the gun back to the owner of it. Kim Valentine, who was the owner of it? Who? Reggie don't want, it was somebody who was somebody we were supplying security for. One of the guys, it was one of Tupac's boys. Somebody that was with Tupac, I don't know which one it was. Kim Valentine, was there ever an occasion where any of your police officers ever provided you with any other weapon other than the one we were discussing? Reggie Wright Jr., no. So this is a unique situation is what Kim is getting at. So you trying to play dumb about what you don't remember and you already put your foot in your mouth and said you didn't know about it. Then you do, but you don't remember whose it was, who you gave it to, whether or not you ever got it back. from Kevin Hackie, or even whether or not you instructed Kevin Hackie to go get it. Reggie Wright Jr., I don't remember that because I don't know what I did with the gun if I got it. But I do remember some discussion about that now. I was wondering what the heck you were talking about. Chris Bradford once again intersects with his story when he interviews Frank Alexander and Kevin Hackie. He said that once I gave him that firearm, that he gave it to his daddy, who was at the time was a lieutenant with the Compton police over the gang division. The same gang division where it was two officers, Detective Ladd, Detective Brendan. The same two gang units that Reggie Wright Sr. sent days after Tupac's murder to go assist the Las Vegas Police Department in their investigation. They have no jurisdiction in Las Vegas and Nevada. You guys sent these people 300 miles, your people, that you were their boss, to go help about this murder that your son has just been named a suspect in. And come to find out, this gun that is being accused of being the 40 Glock and the murder weapon was given to your daddy. Now wonder you don't remember what happened with who you gave that gun to. No wonder you don't remember if you got the gun. See, a lot of this starts to make a lot of sense. And what's crazy is I believe that this evidence right here created reasonable doubt in that Keefe D. Davis during trial will get at the least a hung jury. I got a video I just got sent by one of my cohorts, you know what I'm saying, my partners in crime, Scandalous Los Angeles TV, and he wanted me to play this. I got some clips for y'all. Man, we gonna run this content, you know what I'm saying? I told y'all I got y'all. We got 300 people up in here, man. Hit that like button, share, stay active in the chat. The chat's where it's at. Yael, tell them where we at, bro.
Man, y'all ain't gonna let the house rooms on Clubhouse. One of the dopest rooms.
Hey, we can't hear you, brother.
Hold on, brother. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
I said y'all in one of the hottest rooms on Clubhouse and one of the dopest rooms on Clubhouse and one of the hottest lives on YouTube. You said it with Deuce Sims, the Don. Y'all the Kiwe pop star, man. This hot content is content, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Tune in, tell a friend to tap in, man, with Damu Kiwe conversations.
Yeah, I don't know why your shit sounding like that, but it's all right. But we gonna stay active in that chat, share, tell a friend, man. He said, ex-cop my behind. Wright was in the midst of the hip-hop world just as COINTELPRO was rebranded for modern times. Agents kept undercover to thread TPTB agendas all through the community. A tart mystic, man. I'm gonna drop this thing when we finish this content. I would love for you to come up and expound on that statement that you got, because this is exactly why we running this content, man. Because this new reiteration of COINTELPRO is what these youngsters don't even know they up against, man. Let's get to this video. Shout out my boy Scandalous.
Who killed rapper Tupac Shakur? And now former Compton officer is offering a $100,000 challenge to the man he's convinced was behind the murder. Chris Blatchford has the latest developments.
This scene has haunted Las Vegas investigators for 11 years. And detectives there are now planning a fresh trip to Los Angeles, seeking information leading to the gunman who shot up this BMW and killed rap star Tupac Shakur.
It wasn't a random shooting.
Former Tupac bodyguard Frank Alexander. In this new documentary released in October, recounts 24 bodyguards that night were told not to carry weapons. He now believes this fight involving Tupac and a rival Crip gang member at the MGM Hotel staged so the rival could later.
All of these security is there for this big fight in Vegas. Everybody with money, the gang members, the rich, the hustlers, the players, they're all going to be at this Mike Tyson fight in Vegas. It's only 4 hours away. And Reggie Wright Jr. insisted on none of these dudes carrying a weapon. This shit looking nasty.
He now believes this fight involving Tupac and a rival Crip gang member at the MGM Hotel was staged so the rival could later be blamed for Tupac's murder. A setup, he charges, orchestrated by Death Row Records CEO Marion Suge Knight and Reggie Wright Jr., the record company's security chief.
It could not have happened in the way that it did without them having knowledge of it.
But Suge says, why would he order Tupac shot knowing he'd be sitting right next to him in the BMW? He says he had nothing to do with Tupac's murder.
God knows the truth. And when it comes down to it, it's not one person in the world with any sense to know I have anything to do with getting Tupac shot.
And Reggie Wright gave an interview to allhiphop.com saying the documentary is filled with outright lies. But Kevin Hackie, another former Tupac bodyguard, is challenging Reggie Wright Jr.'s truthfulness.
I'm offering Reggie right now $100K to take a polygraph. That he had no involvement whatsoever to do with Tupac's killing.
Hackie, according to these court filings, worked for 2 years as an undercover agent for the FBI and ATF, helping the feds.
To investigate Marion Knight and Death Row Records for racketeering violations.
And Hackie, a former Compton School District police officer who worked off-duty hours as a Tupac bodyguard, now reveals to Fox 11 News an interesting series of events. He says, here at the House of Blues in 1996, an off-duty Santa Monica cop working security confiscated a .40 caliber Glock handgun similar to this from a member of Tupac Shakur's entourage.
About 2 weeks after that, I was contacted by Reggie to go over to Santa Monica Police Department to pick up this firearm.
Hackie says he first showed the handgun to his FBI handlers and then turned it over to Reggie Wright Jr. A month later in Las Vegas, investigators say it was a .40 Glock handgun that killed Tupac Shakur. Hackie believes the murder weapon was the same gun he gave Reggie Wright Jr.
I believe it is.
And here's why. Hackie says he asked Wright about the .40 Glock.
He stated once I gave him that firearm, he gave it back to his daddy, who at the time was a lieutenant with Compton Police over the gang division. He said his daddy booked that firearm in the property, which, is really and truly far-fetched.
And Hackie says 6 months after Tupac's murder, he had another conversation with Reggie Jr. about the missing handgun. It didn't go well.
Reggie told me, hey, it ain't given time. I have the money, I have the people, I can have you killed, it ain't given time.
Hackie says he told his FBI handlers, and according to these transcripts obtained by Fox 11, also told LAPD detectives a decade ago that Wright had threatened, I can have you killed at any given time. Reggie Wright Jr. declined an on-camera interview, but in a written statement told us, I had nothing to do with Pac's death. He calls Hackie and former bodyguard Frank Alexander liars. But it's Hackie who was offering the truth challenge.
My 100,000 sitting here. I want Reggie to put up 100,000. I will gladly take a polygraph, and I will gladly take his money, and I'll go ahead and start a college fund for underprivileged kids in Las Vegas under Tupac's name.
In response, Wright tells Hackie, pay for it, set it up, let's do it. The polygraph challenge, he claims, is only a ruse to publicize Alexander's new Tupac documentary. A DVD Hackie says he has nothing to do with.
The only thing I want here is for Reggie to be arrested.
Hackie says a polygraph will determine who is the real liar.
Meanwhile, Las Vegas detectives say they plan to meet with Hackie and hear his allegations. And Hackie hopes his statements will be enough to interest a grand jury. Chris Blatchford, Fox 11 News.
Hey, yo. Salute to Scandalous Los Angeles TV. Thanks for sending that, bro, because that really helped put things into perspective. let them hear Kevin Hackie's confidence and challenge to Veggie Wrong, a.k.a. Reggie Wright Jr., a.k.a. the only person who's both a suspect and a informant on the Tupac and Biggie unaliving. There's a whole lot more also. You know what I'm saying? They got him up about like 10, 12 bodies. Reggie Wright Jr., I'm talking about niggas being found unalived in handcuffs. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. Then remember, they got Reggie been lying consistently, saying that David Mack and Rafael Perez caught up in a Rampart scandal, that neither one of them ever worked for Wrightway Security, Death Row Records, or anything, right? This is his dying argument is that he never met David Mack. Well, I was in the federal system. I opened up the SMOO, Special Management Unit program in Talladega, Alabama. When I got there, they were like, Sims, are you a Crip or a Blood? I said, I'm a Blood. They said, oh, man, you just missed David Mack. You know David Mack? I'm like, yeah, I know him. He's a Blood. I said, no, I don't know him like that. I know him as a cop. They said, no, he said he a Ma Paru. So by him claiming in federal prison, federal penitentiary, that he's Ma Paru, it's hard for me to believe that somebody who grew up over there with the mob, when Reggie Wright, Mob James, Suge Knight, all of these people he grew up with, as well as Reggie's dad, don't know or have any kind of connection to David Mack. But if y'all remember, Mob James threw him up under the bus and said, nah, we even had police robbing banks. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we got with this. We got Michael Douglas Carlin. Salute to that. He been on this shit too. I agree with some of the stuff that he be on. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna get into this. Salute to Michael Douglas Carlin. He be on Veggie Wright ass, man. Let's get to this. Let's go. It's a 1 minute clip. Let's go.
Going. Greg Kading, the LAPD officer we spoke to for this piece, has published a book and has a documentary about his findings. He was taken off the investigation after an internal review found him guilty of altering witness statements. We also talked to Tupac Shakur's cousin. He originally agreed to be part of Cindy Lundenberg's investigation, then told us the family decided against it.
I believe that jail and all of that is for or fighting and stuff like that is for jail and all of that. But I don't. I have never been the type of guy that go and put any type of work. Will never get no car and do nothing. I'm a reactor. I'm one that with you and that's going to react to things that happens. But yeah, I don't believe in being spontaneous at all. And so that's what I mean when I say I will orchestrate something. You know, if I want somebody to get slapped or something like that.
Ongoing.
So who unalived Bobby Finch? That's another crime Reggie name keeps popping up in. It's nasty work, man. I'm telling you, it's really nasty work. Let me see. No. We're not doing that one. Let's get rid of this. I just got some other stuff. Let me get into this. What is this? 1 hour ago. Let's get into this real quick. This is Michael Douglas Carlin. We got a couple clips from him. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Where the hell y'all at? We got 310 people up in here. Hit that like button. Let's get into this.
took them because they want the ownership of our company.
Hey, John, we got a lot to cover up, y'all.
DMC rocked that motherfucker that night, man. Run DMC performed that night. You know, everybody knew the conditions, what was going on. They tried to keep it to the burden.
It took them because they want the
It took them 6 minutes having a rumble or a fight inside the hotel before the police let him go. Let him be escorted up out of there. This is crazy. You get caught at a fade in a sloss and swap meet. The police gonna detain you longer than that. You know what I'm saying? So what's this? Let's see what we got. No, that ain't it. Bear with me, we on it. David Mack and Rafael Perez was working with Suge and Death Row. Oh, yeah, I wanted y'all to see this. Hey, yo, we get active in the chat. I told y'all we got something for y'all. We got the content. Let's go.
Valentino giving me Mack and Perez never worked at Death Row.
Salute
but we came up with new evidence showing Greg Kading is incorrect.
I asked Reggie Wright Jr., did David Mack ever work with him? Maybe he outsourced him. Maybe that's how we need to better present the question to him so he could be less evasive. You know, we already caught him lying about the gun and about a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to these unalivings, right? But maybe we're not presenting the questions correct way. Let's not say, did he work for Death Row or did he work for Wrightway Protective Services? Let's ask this: have David Mack or Rafael Perez ever been outsourced? You know what I'm saying? Outsourced for jobs for Death Row, for jobs for Wrightway Protective Services.
David Mack, the LAPD officer, never ever worked or was a.
Now listen to this liar. This the same one that they just said took off the case because of what he was doing with the evidence, right? This dude was contaminating the evidence to these investigations. Keefe D should file a motion for tampering with evidence because he cannot get a fair trial because they took this nigga off the investigation because of that. And this same motherfucker was put on this case because Biggie Mom filed a $400 million lawsuit, which would bankrupt the city of Los Angeles. They take Detective Poole off the case, who mysteriously dies talking about the case at the sheriff's office, who also put out the book, The Labyrinth, right? And they put in Greg Kading, the same Greg Kading that leaked the confession letter that Detective Poole gave to Greg Kading's soon-to-be partner, Darren Dupree, the hip-hop police. Darren Dupree was one of 4 LAPD officers given this confession letter. He gives it to Greg Kading within a week. The confession letter was leaked to the police. Police understand that leaking such information contaminates investigations before they start. Now, he's saying that there is no evidence of Rafael Perez or David Mack ever working with Death Row. Check this shit out.
Affiliated and associated with Death Row Records at all. Neither was Rafael Perez. And those were the 2 individuals that jailhouse informants had claimed were part of Death Row's security. They weren't, ever. And that was looked into not only by the original investigators back in the mid-90s, but also by our task force.
Detective Poole said David Mack was the killer. So if he's saying that this came through Wrightway Security and or Death Row, the hit on Biggie Smalls, then why would he say that they didn't have a connection? The man is clearly lying. But listen to the connection.
Officer David Mack was apparently a charismatic and social guy. So many people at Death Row remember him.
I knew David very well. I was actually quite shocked when I saw David and he was an LAPD. very surprised. And he came with me to the video shoot when we were doing Mac Mall and Ray Love's video shoot. And Tupac was directing, and he wanted to be connected because he wanted to do off-duty work for rap artists. And I brought him to that video shoot, and a little later, I found out he was working with all the rappers I knew off-duty and a lot of other cops that I knew.
Layla isn't the only one who remembers Mac and Perez.
Yeah, I seen him. I seen David back play. They had to come to the party because, you know, never knew when it was going to jump off. Hung out with him, been in the room with him, been around them, you know. Ever since they been around, I was around. I saw all them guys.
And who was the other one? Rafael Perez.
Rafael Perez, seen him too. All that. But like I said, shit, it wasn't no different from us. The only thing they had badges, we didn't. So we might be somewhere, it go like this. We get into it with whoever we get into it with, and when the police rush us, our police rush them. That's how it went. That's how the get down went.
Yes. Officer Perez, he was friends with Suge. I've seen him up there several times. And he was friends with Suge. I seen him in uniform and out of uniform. And when he out of uniform, he try to look like he cool and shit. He wear little accents of red, like try to fit in and shit. I'm like, oh, that's the police do. But I never knew that he was the part of that Rampart division shit until I seen him. Like, out of all the police in the world that I remember him from being up at Death Row. And then there was another one, the one that they said killed Biggie, right? Black dude. He used to be up there too. I don't know if he did this, but the one that they had on the nose, he was there a lot.
Hi. Good morning. Very good of you to see us. What makes Kading's comments about Mac and Perez look especially weak is that even Police Chief Bernard Parks himself said they work for Death Row.
We know that David Mack and Rafael Perez both work security in this rap culture as it relates to some of these artists. But we have had
the Death
Row records, but we have.
This is, for those of y'all not from Los Angeles, this was the Chief Bernard Parks of the Los Angeles Police Department. And his internal investigation found out that David Mack and Raphael, there was evidence that showed that both of those people worked for security for Death Row Records, the top. But yet they put in Greg Kading, Darren Dupree, and this joint task force after Biggie's estate, Faith Evans and his mother and his kids, their estate renewed a $400 million lawsuit. And then they put together this joint task force, renewed effort, which was really just a renewed cover-up to get them off that lawsuit. And it was a cover-up because there definitely was Compton PD, LAPD, sheriffs, and federal law enforcement officers there when Pac was unalive and when Biggie was unalive. Death Row was under federal investigation. The feds watched this happen to both these brothers. And here it is, the chief of LAPD saying that evidence proved that Rafael Perez and David Mack worked for Death Row at some point. And we got Greg Kading saying the total opposite. Nasty work.
No information, nor has any information come forward that would cause us to believe that either one of them are suspects. If in our continuing investigation we uncover facts that we can prove, then we will continue moving forward to clear that case. But until then, what we've seen so far is merely undocumented speculation that has not led to any significant leads.
It would appear that Police Chief Bernard Parks should have been well acquainted with Mack and Perez, according to Xavier Jimenez.
One of the most shocking things in that Board of Rights, or any that I've ever done in over 30 years, was there was a photograph of Rafael Perez and David Mack, who were the two police officers that were bad news, and a woman standing in the middle. And they were all dressed in red from head to toe, a hat, whatever, which is the color of the blood gangs. There's the Crips, and their colors are blue. And so these guys were dressed in red. And they were standing behind a table where there was a cake that said something about Blood's Rule or, something like that. And I was startled because I recognized the woman. And it was the daughter of Police Chief Bernard Parks, who it appeared was a Blood gang member.
That's incredible.
Yeah, tell me about it. I looked at this thing. I turned to my two partners and I said, "Is this way I think it is?" And they said, "Yeah."
And another cellmate of Officer Perez, who alleged Perez took part in Biggie's murder and were threatened with death if they testified against him.
I have a great admiration and respect for the Los Angeles Police Department, but this is the one time, and I've been around the department 40 years as a civilian. And one of the things that I think bothered me the most was how this one case, being the murder of Biggie Smalls, and everything that emanated from it, was really problematic. And in this particular case with these two prisoners, they were visited at their prisons, 1,000 miles apart, and told not to come and testify in the Board of Rights hearing that I was involved with. And they were told that if they did testify, that friends of Perez who were in prison would have them killed for testifying, for snitching. That I found to be just abhorrent, just illegal.
And it was LAPD police officers who told them.
Two detectives. And we heard it for the first time when Kenny Boagney sort of blurted it out. I asked him a question, and he started, kind of shaking a little bit. And then the advocate for the department, who's like the prosecutor, he jumps up and he gets in his face. He says, "Keep your mouth shut. You were told not to talk about that." That was so unreal. I'd never seen that in all the years of being involved with the department.
Shortly afterwards, I received a phone call from Boagney, who is currently serving a 40-year sentence in state prison.
What's calling from? An inmate at a federal prison.
So are you saying that Suge Knight was behind the hit, though?
Absolutely. Absolutely. From the information that I got, he made the call to get it done.
So which officers are you saying were implicated in the murder of Biggie Smalls?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
David Mack, Sammy Martin, Dirty. You had one other officer that was involved in it, and I keep forgetting his name. Kevin Gaines. So it's 5 officers that was involved in the planning that was supposed to help execute it.
It is this testimony from Boagney that is concealed by the LAPD and kept from the Biggie Smalls lawyers. The LAPD will be fined $1.1 million by a U.S. district judge for concealing evidence.
The LAPD was fined $1.1 million for concealing evidence in the murder of Biggie Smalls. Why would these police officers, and we're going to get into all of that, lie, cover up, leak, try to control the narrative and push their own narrative? Oh, it sounds like they got a reason.
However, it's Kading's unfounded theory that over time, with podcasts and TV shows, is accepted as valid today. Whereas Russell Poole, an outstanding police officer for 20 years, is discredited and ostracized.
But I mean,
Hey, there goes Detective Poole right there. We definitely want y'all to hear Detective Poole because he knew what was going on. So Nomad 559 said Gaines is Denzel in Training Day. No, they said that they made Denzel's persona in Training Day a mix of David Mack and Rafael Perez. Now, Cotton says Bernard Park's granddaughter was not the intended target. It was her boyfriend who was a member. Cotton, you're 100% right. Ernest Gray was the intended target. Bullock from City Stones, Black Pea Stone. That's one of my childhood friends. They were targeted by some Crips. He was targeted by some Crips. And Chief Bernard Park's beautiful granddaughter, who he used to brag to me about when we was in juvenile hall, was unalive. So you're correct about that. You know what I'm saying? At the Popeyes on La Brea and Jefferson, if you don't remember. Sad day anytime innocents get unalive, especially where we come from. You're supposed to get your man. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't respect motherfuckers getting innocence. You don't get no stripes from doing no innocence. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to it. Let's go.
He died tragically of a heart attack at LA Sheriff's headquarters during a meeting about the Biggie Smalls murder.
Be suppressed and kept away from the public.
A lot of what Russ Poole did, I'm telling you right.
Valentino giving.
The New Yorkers went.
This is what Ivy League universities you can get into with a 3.6 GPA.
90% of students with a 4.0 home and told Puffy's bodyguard, Eugene Deal, exactly what had happened in Las Vegas. In his police interview, he got all the details right.
It was Zip, Daddy, and some other people I know from New York. They were in Vegas the night Pop got killed. You know what I'm saying? They're around the same Crips that rolled with us to Vegas that time. Mm-hmm. And Pac seen them. Mm-hmm. And Pac stepped to them and said, those are those mark-ass niggas that be fucking with them niggas from New York. That's what was said.
Now, were you there for this?
No, I wasn't there for this.
You were told this.
I was told. That's why I say it was strictly hearsay. And one of the kids had ripped off Pac, one of Pac and them friends, you know, a long time ago or something like that. You know, like I said, this fight broke out. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that incident happened. Mm-hmm. And one of the kids called his uncle, who was ahead, one of the head guys in Compton and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, Pac gets shot up.
We also found an informant who was a Southside Crip and associate of all of these guys who confirmed Keefe D's story.
Who was in Las Vegas that you know on that deal, on that night that Tupac got killed?
Lando, Keefe, T. Brown, Drake.
More importantly, this informant claimed that he had personally seen Orlando Anderson and DeAndre Smith in a white Cadillac in Compton the day after Tupac was shot, and that DeAndre, not Orlando, had bragged about shooting Tupac.
Dre and Orlando, they came back bragging about what happened out there. They seen Tupac and Big Suge, I think, in a BMW, and he said he let off on him.
Man, I let off on Tupac.
Dre said he himself let off on him. What does let off on him mean?
Shooting a person. Like it was a big old joke. Like it was a big joke. You can tell when a person nervous. They was nervous when they got back. Talking, you know, you can tell they had nervousness, you know.
The informant also confirmed what Keefe D had said about the Cadillac being a rental car.
Yeah, that was a rental car they had.
How'd you know that Cadillac was a rental car?
Because every time they go to Vegas, they get rental cars. They get a rental car because if you're going out of town and the police ever find something in there, it's a rental car. They can't really put it on them. If you see Keefe right now,
9 times out of 10, he in a rental car right now.
Killed rapper. A new documentary is asking an old question. Who killed rapper Tupac Shakur? And now a former Compton officer is offering a $100,000 challenge to the man he's convinced was behind the murder. Chris Blatchford has the latest developments.
This scene has haunted Las Vegas investigators for 11 years. And detectives there are now planning a fresh trip to Los Angeles, seeking information leading to the gunman who shot up this BMW and killed rap star Tupac Shakur.
It wasn't a random shooting.
Former Tupac bodyguard Frank Alexander. In this new documentary released in October, recounts 24 bodyguards that night were told not to carry weapons. Orchestrated by Death Row Records CEO Marion Suge Knight and Reggie Wright Jr., the record company's security chief.
It could not have happened in the way that it did without them having knowledge of it.
But Suge says, why would he order Tupac shot knowing he'd be sitting right next to him in the BMW? He says he had nothing to do with Tupac's murder.
God knows the truth. And when it comes down to it, it's not one person in the world with any sense to know I have anything to do with getting Tupac shot.
And Reggie Wright gave an interview to allhiphop.com saying the documentary is filled with outright lies. But Kevin Hackie, another former Tupac bodyguard, is challenging Reggie Wright Jr.'s truthfulness.
I'm offering Reggie right now $100K to take a polygraph. That he had no involvement whatsoever to do with Tupac's killing.
Hackie, according to these court filings, worked for 2 years as an undercover agent for the FBI and ATF, helping the feds.
To investigate Marion Knight and Death Row Records for racketeering violations.
And Hackie, a former Compton School District police officer who worked off-duty hours as a Tupac bodyguard, now reveals to Fox 11 News an interesting series of events. He says, here at the House of Blues in 1996, an off-duty Santa Monica cop working security confiscated a .40 caliber Glock handgun similar to this from a member of Tupac Shakur's entourage.
About 2 weeks after that, I was contacted by Reggie to go over to Santa Monica Police Department to pick up this firearm.
Hackie says he first showed the handgun to his FBI handlers and then turned it over to Reggie Wright Jr. A month later in Las Vegas, investigators say it was a .40 Glock handgun that killed Tupac Shakur. Hackie believes the murder weapon was the same gun he gave Reggie Wright Jr.
I believe it is.
And here's why. Hackie says he asked Wright about the .40 Glock.
He stated once I gave him that firearm, he gave it back to his daddy, who at the time was a lieutenant with Compton Police over the gang division. He said his daddy booked that firearm in the property, which, you know, is really and truly far-fetched.
And Hackie says 6 months after Tupac's murder, he had another conversation with Reggie Jr. about the missing handgun. It didn't go well.
Reggie told me, you know, hey, it ain't given time. You know, I have the money, I have the people, I can have you killed, it ain't given time.
Hackie says he told his FBI handlers, and according to these transcripts obtained by Fox 11, also told LAPD detectives a decade ago that Wright had threatened, I can have you killed at any given time. Reggie Wright Jr. declined an on-camera interview, but in a written statement told us, I had nothing to do with Pac's death. He calls Hackie and former bodyguard Frank Alexander liars. But it's Hackie who was offering the truth challenge.
My $100,000 sitting here. I want Reggie to put up $100,000. I will gladly take a polygraph, and I will gladly take his money, and I'll go ahead and start a college fund for underprivileged kids in Las Vegas under Tupac's name.
In response, Wright tells Hackie, pay for it, set it up, let's do it. The polygraph challenge, he claims, is only a ruse to publicize Alexander's new Tupac documentary. A DVD Hackie says he has nothing to do with.
The only thing I want here is for Reggie to be arrested.
Hackie says a polygraph will determine who is the real liar.
Meanwhile, Las Vegas detectives say they plan to meet with Hackie and hear his allegations. And Hackie hopes his statements will be enough to interest a grand jury.
I'm African American.
rapper was in the backseat of a black BMW, part of an informal convoy of 10 cars, when Las Vegas police say shots were fired from a passing white Cadillac. We've been informed that doctors have told the family members that they expect the rap star to once again recover from his injury.
But there was a connection between Keefe D's Southside Compton Crips and Bad Boy Records. A witness testified that Keefe D and his nephew Orlando Anderson were in charge of the relationship between the Southside Compton Crips and Bad Boy Records, and that Bad Boy Records feared Suge Knight.
So you have you have that theory. Those are the two biggest theories in this sector. We got something else for y'all. Let me go ahead and get that. Shout out my boy Scandalous Los Angeles. He see me up here cooking, so he ended up going to go get some of that work that goes exactly with what we own. But I wanted to be balanced. I know what I believe, and I believe that the police definitely wanted Pac out the way. Too much power. What'd he say? Mr. Police, please try to see that it's a million motherfuckers stressing just like me. And that statement right there is enough to get a motherfucker killed in itself. So, Dossier Season 2, Mac Attack. Let's get into this. Oh, they're making me sign in. Oh, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it, Scandalous. They making me sign in. Hold on. Let me close this off. Is y'all with me? Let me make sure y'all with me. Maybe he could take over for a few seconds. Yeah, could you take over real quick? I don't want everybody to see me typing in my thing.
Man, you already know I can't do so. Hey, look, man, y'all getting some of the hottest content in these YouTube streets. Man, make sure y'all tap in. Tell a friend to like Damu Kiwe Conversations, man. Listen, if you on Clubhouse, man, make sure you follow the house and share it. Share it 3 times on the hallway. We can get that shine, man. Make sure you do that. And if you on YouTube, make sure you are like, comment, and subscribing to the content, man. We going up right now. Keefe D admits that Reggie Wrong is and has something to do with Tupac's murder, man. Guess what? We got the receipts with Deuce Sims the Don and y'all, the Kiwe pop star. Damu Kiwe Conversation.
All right. Trust this browser. I trust the browser. They let me in. Oh, no, they said it was an error. Oh, man, they hating on me. Why they want to hate on me? Never thought they would backstab me. When these niggas see me, they flee. Cause I'm a TH with the UG. All right. I think they let me play it now. Hold on. We got it. Let's see what's going on, man. Rest in peace.
To face each threat head on. We've earned our place in the fight for our nation's future. We are Marines. We were made for this.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text
They
it to
making us
Resident
listen to
and
these
it does
commercials.
without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy
We're
S25
not on
Ultra,
Clubhouse
the AI
right now.
companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
When he was arrested for the bank robbery, got a lot of clues that linked David Mack to Biggie's murder and linked a civilian associate of David Mack's as well.
He's ruthless, man. Look at, what did he get nailed for while at Rampart? Nothing. The bank robbery. We know for a fact there were other people involved in that bank robbery. That guy kept his mouth quiet. He never cooperated. He never admitted it. And he went to trial. And he did his 14 years or whatever in federal prison, and they never found the money. That tells you the mental makeup of that guy. He's capable of anything.
As we ended production of season 1 of the dossier, I had begun a quest to track down the alleged co-conspirators of the plot to murder Biggie, notorious ex-LAPD officers Rafael Perez and David Mack. After being unable to locate Perez, who now goes by the name Ray Lopez, I wasn't feeling all that confident about my chances of getting Mac on the phone. I dialed the first of a few possible phone numbers that I tracked down for David.
Hello?
Is David Mack there?
Yeah, this is David.
How are you, sir? My name is Don Sikorsky. I'm a television producer in New York City.
Okay, Don, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I was curious, I know you worked for the LAPD and have a tremendous story. I'm wondering if you would ever decide to tell it in a television show or a book.
More in the book.
Are you working on a book?
No, but see, there's one version now, but it's more on athletics, about a personal friendship that a person had with me.
That was with your time at the Oregon Athletics when you ran track.
Yeah.
And so
but it's not the stuff you're interested in.
You wouldn't be interested in telling your story on a platform or on a TV series. You'd be more interested in a book.
Well, I'm not saying no.
I see. It would have to be what the deal was.
The whoopee team.
There you go.
And have people approached you in the past?
Maybe for families.
Yeah.
For families.
And you've turned everyone down?
More or less. Yeah. I mean, that's why we're here now.
Yeah. And is that because it all came down to money? The deal was not, or they just weren't serious enough?
A combination of
the both.
That, control, just a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put your cards on the table, and I'll bet what you have, and maybe come to an agreement.
And as far as the stuff that went on at the LAPD, are you willing to go down that road and talk about that stuff? Is there anything that prevents you from talking about that stuff?
I don't think so.
Psych dog.
Okay.
G homie,
we had to explore that.
Yeah.
To the site.
Okay. Well, how about this? I'll put an email together with what I'm thinking, and we can go from there. How about that?
I like that. Let's start a dialogue.
Okay, David. Thank you.
As I hung up the phone, so many thoughts raced through my head. I have to admit, even in that brief initial phone call, his charisma was evident. It was easy to see how this man became one of the ringleaders of the criminal activity inside the LAPD that ended with a takeover-style bank robbery like the Michael Mann movie Heat. David Mack, for 20 years, has been an enigma. While Mack is much older than he was during his criminal heyday, statements from many of those questioned about Mack also ran through my head. Nino Durden, a cop he worked with, when questioned by FBI agent Phil Carson, stated simply, "You don't fuck with Mack." Hardened gangsters inside federal pens told investigators that they wanted no part of going against Mack, with one telling them, "Yeah, prison is a long time, but dead is forever." I needed some advice on my next step, so minutes after I got off the phone with Mack, I called Phil Carson.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, pigeons and pit bulls.
Yeah, for 10 minutes.
Wow.
Is that
what do you have to say?
So you could tell me if you agree with how I played it, because I felt playing it the other way would have just got the phone hung up on my face, So I wanted to get as much audio as possible on him. So basically, I never in a million years thought he was going to, start there, that he was going to answer the fucking phone, or that is actually.
I would agree. Yeah.
Right? So the fucking second ring, he picks up, and I'm like, is David Mack there? And like, this is him. And I said, is this the David Mack that previously worked at the LAPD? And he was like, yeah. And I said, I'm a TV producer based out of New York City. And I said, I'm curious if you have ever thought about your story as it relates, you know, to your time at the LAPD, if you've ever thought about doing a movie or a TV show or a book. And I said, well, is there anything that's preventing you from telling your story as it relates to what happened at the LAPD? And he kind of paused and he was like, no. I said, okay. And I said, have you ever been contacted before as it relates to telling your story? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, what happened, you know, in that process? I said, was it money? Was it, you know, people weren't serious? And he said, you know, it was a little bit of both. And I said something like, you know, well, if, you know, would you be interested? And he kind of laughed and he was like, well, that's why I'm talking to you. So at that point,
bulletproof vest, PPE,
what I said
right
is
about
I
that.
said, you know, I asked him again, I'm like, you're sure that, you know, you can talk about your time at the LAPD? And he reassured me, yeah. And I said, all right, well, you know, I read him his email, right? And he sounded surprised that I had his email address too, along with his number. So I said, well, I'm going to send you an email. And he said, okay, well, why don't we get a dialogue?
Orchestrator.
And I said, well, I'll send you an email and we can talk. Now, here's the thing. I feel like if I bombarded him with the obvious, he's going to hang up in my face, you know?
I think you handled it perfect, yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, the question then becomes, you know, what would get this guy to talk?
Bro, Greg Caden blocked me on Facebook.
He was
I was
never
pressing him down so hard he blocked me.
Was he ever charged
He
with anything in Rampart?
CS2 back.
No, nobody was.
So he can talk about.
He wouldn't
all of
interview
the
me. Scandalous already interviewed him.
Bank robbery because it's fucking adjudicated, and you would hope that in talking about that stuff, that he then would go on the record about the Biggie shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I think two things are going to happen. One is, when you send him an email, common sense tells me he's going to Google your name.
Well, yes, that's that.
Once that happens, he's going to realize you're the guy doing the dossier and you know, all that, because there'll be probably a million stories and this and that come up on all that. And so probably it'll take him a little bit of time and he'll listen. But I'll tell you what, Don, when I talked to him, he was so engaging and so sadistic at the same time. And he was just kind of like laughing and joking around. And I'll remember this the day I die. I finally looked at him. I said, "You're wasting your fucking time. You're wasting my fucking time." I almost got pissed at him but at the same time realizing, don't get him too mad, because at some point this guy's getting out of prison, and I don't want him coming fucking looking for me. And so
that's actually the vibe you got from him, huh?
100%. And then I had another agent who was from the local office, and I got up and I said, "I'm fucking out of here." And then he goes, No, man, I'm sorry. He goes, "Let's go ahead and sit down. Let's go ahead and talk and stuff." And by the way, I have that. That's all written up in my 302 of his.
Yeah.
So I sat back down and we talked, and I could tell at that point he wasn't going to give me a thing. He just wanted somebody to talk to now. Like, it was eating him up, but at the same time, he felt like he was like being able to play me, and it's just he is the most, that guy's got the devil written all over him. And I thought at this point, okay, two things. One is, I don't want this guy coming after me and killing me someday. So I'm going to make sure I talk sports now with him and just like engage with him like I'm a friend. But I'll tell you, man, that guy, he has got the fucking devil in him.
Darren
And
Dupree is not a public
he is a
person.
sociopath from the word go.
That's
So
why
I'm just kind of
agitating
wondering
and trolling him
if he's
now because I
going
know he
to.
hates it.
He'll probably engage with you in conversation, and he'll be using that to try to pry information or trying to find all about you, which is fine. But I'm just curious on how he's going to react when he finds out who you actually are.
Yeah, it's funny, right? I thought about that a lot, and you know, I guess if you Google my name, you're obviously gonna see a lot of stuff, right?
But I would just think that with all the stuff that you've done and all the success, that the Biggie thing's going to be popping up everywhere, along with everything else.
Sure, but how about this? Like, he's so arrogant. Maybe that if I'm saying to him, hey, there's a deal to be made here.
Yeah.
And he smells money or whatever, maybe he's that arrogant that he feels like he can play the system.
100% agree with that.
Right?
Not only does he probably think he can, there wouldn't even be a doubt in his mind, and he would be beyond arrogant to think that he could do that. That's the feeling that I get from him, that I got from him, that you want to talk about somebody that's walking around that thinks they are 100% untouchable, it's him. You know what? Maybe engage in the Rampart stuff and even talk to him about his relationship with Perez and the fact that, he shot somebody that was about ready to shoot and kill Perez, and that's why Perez is so indebted to him and will basically take anything to the grave and never dime out Mac on anything.
It's pretty interesting.
Interesting, man.
Well, we got at least 7 minutes of audio with Dave and Mac, which I never thought we'd fucking have.
No, that's 7 minutes more than I thought you'd get. You know what, Don? It's worth. It's worth trying to engage in a conversation with him because
it's worth playing it out. Yeah, it's
absolutely.
worth.
There's no downside.
Yeah.
You got his ear, so I mean that's a big plus right there. That's a good catch.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go and write an email because it's just fresh in my mind right now, and I'll call you back. I'm gonna write an email to him and just see what comes of it.
Yeah, cool. Let me know.
Okay, I'll call you right back.
All right. So, hey, salute to that. We let y'all hear that. And then we're going to get into this. Because as I was telling y'all when I first started, Reggie Wright Jr. was trying to pull a coup at Death Row Records. Right? What up, Nadia? Long time no see. Long time no hear. So, the coup he was trying to put down was so vicious that him and the lawyer, David Kenner, were already stealing money, were already licensing out Tupac's catalog for use, features, all kind of stuff without authorization from Suge while Suge was in jail, even giving Afeni and all of them the right to do whatever they wanted to do with it. But they were stealing money. Y'all don't got to believe me. I'll let Daz teach you. Stole his spot. They wanted to wear his shoes. They wanted to walk in his shoes, man. This is nasty work. Let's get into this.
You know, this is what we've been fighting for the last 30 years, you know what I'm saying? Why Snoop took all the shit off of iTunes and everywhere because he wanted to see who's stealing.
Okay.
You know, Reggie Wright was stealing. He had made a publishing company under my name, and he was just stealing all kind of shit, man. And, you know, we found that out, and now Snoop going through every corners of the Death Row catalog and just seeing like Alan Grunblack from E1 stealing.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? And Reggie Wright stealing. You know what I'm saying? We catching everybody hand in the cookie jar right now. So right now we putting everything back together. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said before, Snoop doing a good motherfucking job area on the death row, you know what I'm saying, and giving us shit back. So, hey, I retired. When you got $100 million, you know what I mean?
Wow. Congratulations on that, man.
I retired.
So there you have Daz Dillinger, man, of the Dog Pound, talking about that Reggie Wright Jr. was caught with his hand in a cookie jar. The reason, and him and David Kenner, too. You right, Monique Hill. David Kenner, Reggie Wright Jr., and Alan Grunblatt at Koch Records, which turned to E1, which we was talking about the night before last. They all had their hand in a cookie jar, especially while Suge was in jail, doing what they did and stripping him of all of his power, not just his economic power. Obviously, it's documented how they stole it. David Kenner made him lose a ruling where he would have won had he went to court by not even showing up in court to represent him. Suge's in jail. He's expected David Kenner to be there. David Kenner not there. So default judgment ruled against him, leading to bankruptcy and the loss of Death Row Records, the catalog, and hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? That's sugar the shit for real. But it was designed that way. They were all working against him, right? And it's really strange. Shout out to Big Marv, man. Ayatollah Marv is what y'all know him by. I know him as Big Marv from AMP, right? The oldest living Pyru. He was telling me today, and I can't for the life of me understand why Suge would still make a deal with the devil. Why is he back in bed with David Kenner representing him and Reggie Wright, talking to Reggie Wright every day? Think about that. These people wanted to take everything from you. They wanted you in jail. In fact, how do you know that David Kenner didn't purposely just lose your appeal to keep you buried in jail? Because Jimmy Iovine or Dr. Dre or one of these other motherfuckers that fear you and your presence back onto the entertainment scene paid them some money to make sure that they line you up and keep you where you at. How do we know that? Suge, you better than me, because ain't no damn way I'm going to trust Reggie Wright Jr. He's a liar. He's burning both ends of the stick. He's a suspect, official murder suspect in the unaliving of Tupac Shakur. He's an official murder suspect in the unaliving of Christopher Notorious B.I.G. Wallace. And a whole bunch of other. We're not going to just pile on the dude, on Reggie Wright. He's an ex-cop. You know what I'm saying? Cockroach. Scum of the earth. Piece of shit. This the same man that took Suge's wife, Tanisha Swan, or baby mama, Tanisha Swan, to go tell the feds Suge said he wanted Biggie dead and that he would have money sent to her where it couldn't be traced, and he needed her to pay Poochie to unalive Biggie in retaliation for Tupac's unalive. He took her there to do that. This is the same person that just testified at the Keefe D grand jury. It makes a whole lot of sense why he got mad at CS2 back and didn't want CS2 back to bail Keefe D out and whooped him. He told him, you know what I'm saying, stepped all on his chucks. Because if Keefe D isn't buried for the unaliving of Tupac Shakur, that leads the other theory, the other big theory. And that other big theory goes back to what happened with that 40 Glock. Goes back to why did you make sure that these dozens of police, off-duty police officers were all unarmed in Las Vegas with everything that was going on, with everything that surrounded Tupac Shakur? Why? Obviously negligent. But why? Why did your father send Bobby Ladd? Let's go to that real quick. Why did your father send Bobby Ladd and Brennan to go assist the Las Vegas Police Department on this murder of Tupac Shakur? Let me see if we could get to this real quick. Oh, yeah, we got it. Got him. Let me see if we could get there. Hip-hop police timeline. Y'all just got to bear with me. We on a PowerPoint. We're going to get into some of this, and then we're going to get up out of here. Boom. All right, so what we're going to do, oh, yeah, let me share this. That's how I had to do this. I forgot. Copy link. Salute, share. We on YouTube, man, at Active Chucks. We got the content. Man, this shit taking all day. Okay, there we go. Boom. So we can get rid of that. Now I'm going to push this over here, and then we'll be able to get right up in there real quick for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So y'all be able to see that. Hey, look, we got 350 people on the live. It's probably more than that. Go ahead and hit that like button. Share. Tell a friend. Y'all in here with Yael when the dime. Duke Sims from Bram. Let me go. Let me see. Did I share? Let me share that with y'all. All right. Fanboy Take Sexy 77. What up? Yeah, bro. This is what we up against right now. This new COINTELPRO with these hip-hop police, these gang police. They're going to railroad you if you present any threat. Remember, we're the last warrior class. We're the last resistance. We're the only ones that'll be like, fuck the law, fuck the police. That's just how we was raised. We're not to turn the other cheek. We believe in violence. That violence is necessary. Shit. All we do is watch our oppressors and see how they became so rich. The richest country ever. Rape, pillage, rob, steal, kill, all of that, right? So let's get to this real quick. So we could go. So let's get into a little bit about Detective Russell Poole again. Let's bring this back. Former LAPD robbery homicide detective, led investigation. Oh my God. In Liga gang shooting. Now, mind you, Gaines is the one Reggie is blaming on having some kind of relationship with David Mack and Rafael Perez of the Rampart scandal, right? He got down by Liga, right? Also, after allegedly throwing gang sign, a police officer allegedly throwing gang sign to a white police officer. There's some real underhanded shit going on, right? Investigated investigating alleged station house beating of a gang member by crash officer Brian Hewitt. Detective Russell Poole was met with resistance inside the LAPD to fully investigate the unaliving of Christopher Wallace and to fully investigate corruption of Officer Kevin Gaines by department leadership. So they're making it hard for him to fully investigate any of this. He later is pulled off of the cases and reassigned and eventually pushed out of the department. His reports on the incidents are gutted, and much of the information disappears, along with Frank Liger's personal package. So his confession letter to the unaliving of Tupac and attempt to unalive Suge Knight is written in 1998 as dictated by Malcolm Patton, one of the shooters, and given to Fox 11 journalist Chris Blatchford. Chris Blatchford also talks to Malcolm Patton about the unaliving and provides a written statement of his conversation. That letter details that the conspiracy to commit unaliving began in Balboa, clearly giving Los Angeles jurisdiction over the Tupac unaliving case. In June 24th, 2014, Russell Poole and R.J. Bond met with 4 representatives from the LAPD and provided them with a copy of the confession letter. They placed special markings on the letter and received assurances the information will be investigated. Instead, it was leaked 6 days after the letter appears on the internet. Suge Knight is shot in a West Hollywood nightclub by assailants that yell, "You killed Tupac," as they fire shots at Knight. The attempt to derail the confession letter is traced back to Reggie Wright Jr. Darren Dupree, one of the cops that Russell and RJ gave the confession letter to, gave it to Greg Caden, who leaked the confession letter 1 week later to the news. Let's get to this. Greg Caden, right? Well, I don't really want to get into Greg Caden. We know about Greg Caden. Let's go on to Rafael Perez, born in Humacao, Puerto Rico, but moved to New York in 1972. He also stayed in Paterson, New Jersey, and moved to Philly in 1982. Graduated high school, then joined the U.S. Marine Corps in 1985, stationed in Maine and in California. In 1989, he was hired by the LAPD, a former police officer who worked for the notoriously crooked LAPD crash unit and a central figure in the Rampart scandal. Involved in multiple crimes and corruption, notably the shooting and framing of Javier Ovando, in addition to the theft and resale of $800,000 of cocaine from LAPD evidence lockers. Sometimes you hear Greg Caden and these other detectives that try to push these false narratives talking about, oh, no, we know that it wasn't that Perez that went and got that evidence. They were stealing evidence from locker rooms using fake names. And you know that. So why are you insulting our intelligence as if they're going to go and check out one gun in their name, Rafael Perez, and get out when you know that they got caught wearing disguises, going to other police stations, utilizing fake badge numbers and identification to take cocaine, guns, and evidence out of these evidence lockers. So when you try to make these things sound so far-fetched, all you got to do is pay attention to exactly what the evidence shows. They definitely were doing cover-ups. They definitely were planning drugs and selling drugs and having their family members sell drugs. But anyway, Rafael Perez is accused of being a blood member. He's also a suspect in the murder of Biggie Smalls at the behest of Marion Suge Knight, began to talk about a different magnitude of corruption, wrongdoings that he claimed was endemic to special police units such as Crash, combating gangs in various precincts. So he made sure that they knew that there was a different magnitude of corruption and wrongdoing in the special force units such as Crash Unit. You know what I'm saying? You know, so also he declared that there were bogus arrests, just like I went through when they planned to work on me, perjured testimony, and planning to drop guns on unarmed civilians in various precincts. He implicated 70 officers in wrongdoings, raising questions about police procedure, cost the criminal justice system into state of turmoil. Over 100 convictions were thrown out and thousands more were investigated. Estimated $125 million paid, setting civil suits per city attorney office. The Rampart scandal forced the city of LA to accept federal role in overseeing LAPD operations. So what they basically saying is that this dude who Chief Bernard Park says was working for Death Row was not only planting drugs on niggas, reselling $800,000 of cocaine that was stolen from LAPD evidence lockers, shot unarmed essay, planted a drop gun on him, which is a gun that he didn't have, just a dirty weapon that they plant on people, and got him his third strike. Later overturned, and he received millions in compensation, but so were 100 other convictions overthrown based on corruption, and Rafael Perez was doing that. I wonder what he wouldn't do for Death Row. Let's get into David Kenner. Oh, very interesting. So David Kenner rented the home of Larry Longo through Frank Longo's Larry's son, then moved Suge Knight into the home setting up a clear conflict of interest. Larry Longo is fired but cleared of any wrongdoing. The maneuver was clearly orchestrated by Kenner to jail Suge's probation violated in a way that judges abhor. He wanted Suge in jail. He clicked up with Reggie Wright Jr. trying to pull a coup and take over Death Row. Let me get y'all back up in here. My bad, y'all. I know you over there working hard at work. I'm with you. I got you, bro. David Kenner was contacted by Las Vegas Police Department to arrange the interview with Yak Fula. Kenner never arranges the interview, and Fula got unalived before investigators could find him on their own. On September 15th, the Dannemora contract was signed by Suge Knight. On 9/16, which means the day later, it was signed by Tupac, meaning the contract was written the day before Suge and Kenner visited Tupac. They made contract vague so they could steal Tupac's money. Evidence surfaced after Tupac's death. The theft would become a problem for David Kenner, as the contract was a clear conflict of interest for Kenner that could have led to his disbarment. So now this is one of the reasons that they said David Kenner had a motive, right? Also, another motive that they say is attributed to David Kenner is that he was terminated by Tupac days before Tupac was unalive. Tupac made it clear 4 days before his unaliving in New York City that he was leaving Death Row. David Kenner grew up and was schooled with the children of mob bosses. He aspired to be a lawyer for the mob. Not Mob Peru, La Costa Nostra, their kids, Italians. right? But he didn't make the cut because of his ethnic background. So he ended up being a lawyer for the mob, M.O.B., Mob Paru. So there goes David Kenner. Let's tell you about some more of these players. Kevin Gaines, alleged affiliation with the Bloods and Death Row Records. He joined the LAPD and assigned to Crash, implicated in the Rampart scandal. He was dating Sharita Knight at the time of Tupac's murder. Snoop Dogg was fighting a murder trial the same year. Snoop Dogg was acquitted when evidence disappeared from an evidence locker at LAPD that Gaines had access to. So what they're asserting, and mind you, Sharita was managing Snoop Dogg, right? And she's fucking on Kevin Gaines, right? And evidence disappeared from an evidence locker at the LAPD that Kevin Gaines had access to. And he was able to then, him and Johnny Cochran was able to then beat the case that he was fighting. Murder was the case that they gave me. Murder. March 18, 1997, Gaines was gunned down by Officer Frank Liga. Off-duty Kevin Gaines was apparently given a violent outburst. His wife filed several domestic abuse complaints. He was involved in other road rage incidents, and in at least one case, he had threatened to cap a motorist. He once called 911 to provoke police with verbal abuse. Tell these motherfucking assholes to take the cuffs off him. Motherfucker, I hate cops. This was a plot in which he hired an attorney and filed a notice of claim against the city. LAPD Internal Affairs investigated claim evidence suggesting that he did it to engage other officers. So the bottom line, these cops that I'm telling you about and these characters that I'm giving you are all twisted, dirty pigs. Detective Timothy Brennan, born in Chicago, Illinois, and he died in November 16, 2021. Both of his grandfathers were Chicago PD from the 1920s through the 1950s, gang wars of Al Capone and the Italian gangsters versus Bugs Moran and the Irish gangsters. He joined the Compton Police Department in 1982. 1988, he was promoted to Compton Gang Unit Detective, where he worked on the murder investigations of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls with the LAPD. In 1996, Brennan and Robert Ladd assisted the Las Vegas Police Department in the investigation of Tupac's murder. Brennan wrote a gang warrant affidavit that named Orlando Baby Lane Anderson as a suspect. Why is a Compton police gang unit making the gang warrant affidavit naming Baby Lane as a suspect in a murder when they don't have jurisdiction in Vegas? Notorious B.I.G. in 1997, Brennan was assigned to help the LAPD investigate the murder of the Notorious B.I.G. He also worked on the Notorious B.I.G. Task Force investigation from 2006 through 2007, which was headed by Greg Caden. Claim to fame is he arrested Eazy-E. He also claimed that Baby Lane initiation was to shoot at him in a McDonald's drive-thru. So this dude has a motive and hates Baby Lane. So this might be one of the reasons that he lined them up and put this warrant out on him. Testified but mind you, he was sent to Vegas by the man Reggie Wright Jr. gave the gun, the 40 Glock to. Remember the 40 Glock? Yeah, the man who ended up with the gun that matched ballistics to the bullets that killed Tupac Shakur sent these guys who worked under him to go help Las Vegas in this murder. And they're the one writing the warrant on Baby Lane. He claims that he was an expert on Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. murder cases. He investigated and or assisted investigations involving Tupac, Suge, DJ Quick, Eazy-E, Snoop Dogg, Little Eazy-E, The Game, and Biggie Smalls. Reggie Wright Sr. was Brennan's sergeant. Then you got Detective Ladd, who was just the same partners in crime with Brennan. That, in fact, they were partners in the gang unit. They were the only two gang members. But this is some of the things you have to know. He was not a part of the LAPD Biggie task force, you know what I'm saying, even though he was partnered with Brennan since 1985. The LAPD task force finds a 40 Glock buried at alleged Southside Compton Crip member house, Corey Edwards. They claimed that this was the murder weapon that killed Tupac Shakur, and then Vegas and the FBI ended up proving that was a lie. So these two people, Brennan and Robert Ladd, who worked under Reggie Wright Sr., were sent to go help this Vegas murder investigation, and they're trying to put the gun that killed Pop in the hand, found in Compton, in the hands of Las Vegas Police Department, claiming that they basically could trace that to some Compton gang members, which would help cover up what we believe what really happened. So let me see: Frank Liger, Detective Michael Coet, Kevin Hackie, and that's pretty much it as far as that's pretty much it for tonight. So everybody, man, we want to thank y'all for coming through. Yael, you want to talk to him before we go?
Man, listen, y'all done sat through what? Damn near 3 hours of hot content. Damn near. Hey, round it off to the nearest number. It's almost 3. You know where y'all want to be, man. Listen, y'all done sat through almost 3 hours of hot content with Deuce M's the Don and Yael the Kiwe pop star. Listen, if you was on Clubhouse right now, salute to you. Salute to the chat. You already know that's where it's at. Salute to the mods that's always on their job on stage. And make sure y'all have shared that content 3 times so in the hallway we can get our shine, man. And salute to our valid supporters on YouTube and the YouTube live, man. Salute to the chat. Y'all know that's where it's at. And the Blue Wrench Mob, that's always on their job, man. Salute to the friends that came in and told a friend to like, comment, and subscribe to the Damu Kiwe Conversations page. Active Chucks, you know we stay active in our Chucks. Good luck if you don't. Hey, listen, man, look, 3 hours of hot content exposing Reggie Wright Jr. Keefe D admits that Reggie wrong has something to do with Tupac's unaliving. The receipts is here and clear. This is the content you want to hear. Thank you guys for coming in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Till again, you just sat in the presence of Deuce M's the Don, Yael the Kiwe pop star. 2 voices, hottest voices of the culture and the West Coast. Damu Kiwe Conversations.
Nah, was it Suge the mastermind behind all of it? Hell no, they went rogue. They stealing from him his cars, his house, everything, his business office. Real quick, I see everybody talking about how important it is to make sure that you register your intellectual property and you maintain your publishing and you don't allow people to take advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? So just for those who don't know, let me show y'all what y'all need to do. If y'all don't want to get bamboozled, y'all need to go on this same channel that y'all on, subscribe to the membership, and on the membership, this is what it looks like. It's called Student of Life. And then here you'll have members only. It's $4.99. Do Sims, the importance of registering intellectual property. Do Sims, the importance, and then it goes into different videos. Black Box Monies, registering your works and with your PRO. Mechanical licensing and digital embedding. It's a step-by-step process to properly register your shit. Sound exchange, DMCA takedown notices, demand for payments, and making sure you have a good rapport with counsel, and then due Sims, copyright wins and losses. Matter of fact, I think, how long is that? Because y'all all know he got to go. That's too long. We'll get into that when we get into the lawsuit against World Star Hip Hop. But yeah, so for those artists and creatives that want to protect themselves, don't leave food on the table, bro. And we're not gonna feed you no fish. We're gonna make you a fisher of men. You know what I'm saying? Take that, subscribe to this channel, to the Student of Life curriculum that I put together. And I've been through a lot of different situations, legal situations, because people feel that they can exploit our culture, exploit our talent and intellectual property, and that we don't know because they put it in a book and most of us don't. But I studied the Digital Millennial Copyright Act, and I understand intellectual property and the equity that's within it, especially how they devalued our brand by taking it from selling records where you get points, which make 8 cents, 9 cents, 10 cents, depending on what deal you got off of every album sold, to now you're getting percentages of a penny. So where a record sale for the same product would have got you 8 cents, 10 cents, 12 cents, 18 cents off of after SLRP on a CD or a tape, valuing the intellectual property, say the Beatles catalog, at 1.2 billion. Now up under digital streaming, for people getting that same product, probably wouldn't even be a quarter of the value of that intellectual property. We need to rethink exactly what we're doing. But until then, we need to understand the process of properly registering, collecting your performance, all of your performance rights, all of your mechanical rights, publishing, so that your money isn't included in what was last year's Black Box monies, $427 million, unclaimed royalties. A lot of motherfuckers that's on the internet, some successful, they got to be successful to be generating money, but they just don't know how to properly register their music, videos, intellectual property. So y'all keep that in mind. Remember, Student of Life available on here, and y'all been with the Damu Kiwe conversation. We gonna go out with the anthem. If y'all ain't heard it, go on YouTube, Yael, Joe Moses, Coyotes for Hire.